what's up? Welcome to FSP. This is fun. I don't know what
Hello.
that was. I'm amped up right now. I've had a lot of fucking Coke. I mean soda. Caffeine. Yeah. Welcome to Fun Speculation Podcast. This is episode number 26. Hi, everybody. We're going to talk a lot about some things today. We've got to get some stuff off of our chest. There's a lot of things that we're not supposed to talk about according to Twitter and other podcast hosts and people in the gaming community. And, you know, we've been hearing this for a while. Like, stop talking about this. Why are you talking about this? It doesn't make any sense to talk about this. So we're going to talk about all those things today in one show.
Yeah.
So
let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's go. I mean, like I said, I'm amped up on. To tell you the truth, this is Dr. Pepper, but we call everything in Texas Coke, regardless of where it is. It makes it kind of difficult to order at the drive-thru sometimes.
23 flavors. You don't know what to call it, so you just call it Coke.
That's true.
Do you call it pop down there?
No, we don't call it
That's
pop.
New York. That's New York.
I just call it by whatever name the soda is. I don't.
Yeah, we'll say soda or Coke, or like specifically, you know what it is.
It's pop to me.
It's pop. Oh, it's pop over there too.
Well, in Ohio, it's pop.
Ohio.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It must
So
be like
Ohio,
a more
New York,
Eastern
pop.
thing. East thing, you know.
Yeah, we call it pop in New York. Like, you know.
Yeah. Well,
some
no.
pop.
But Pong's in the fucking middle of the country and up north in Minnesota. He says it's pop.
Oh,
I've
okay.
always said soda, even when
Yeah,
I lived in New
yeah.
York and in
Soda.
PA.
It's all right to be wrong.
It depends what part of the neighborhood you're from, I guess. I don't know. You know, is it pop?
No.
Is it soda?
You're
soda
all
pop?
wrong.
It's a pop, huh?
It's soda pop.
What
Let's
it is
just-
to me, that's what it is.
It's soda pop, huh? All right.
Pop soda.
Anyway,
It's pop.
we got an awesome panel here today. Hey, we'll start with the always fuzzy Mr. Fuzzy Belvedere. What's up, dude? How's it going?
Not too bad. Glad to be here, and man, we got some stuff to clear our throats, get off our chests. You know, stuff that some people may not want to hear, but they need to hear.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Psycho, my brother, what is going on, dude? How are you?
I'm feeling a little bit better today. Not as fucking sick as the last couple days, but I'm here because, what the fuck is going on Twitter? That's all I gotta say. Like, can't talk about something and be excited without somebody saying you're not allowed to do that. Fuck you. So
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, that's why we're here today. Or
That-
I'm here today.
Yeah, for sure, man. But you said you're feeling better?
Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better.
Okay, that's good, man.
I wish I had some.
You've had it rough for a few weeks.
Yeah.
And we have the ever so talented game dev, artist, commercial maker, actor, philanthropist, nude model, Greek god. Wait, no, that's Psycho.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Portuguese, isn't he?
Yeah, it's Portuguese.
It's all good.
What's up, 3-Bit? How's it going, man?
Me and Psycho, we get mixed up all the time. So,
Yeah.
Uh,
You sound
No,
a lot
I'm
alike.
good.
Your voices.
yeah. All the time.
Yes.
No, I'm good. I'm glad you're feeling better, Psycho. A lot of people have been getting sick lately, so you know,
A lot.
just be like a lot of my friends and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm just very conscious of that, and I hope you guys all stay safe out there. But yeah, I'm doing good. I've been working on different commercials. Affleck, if you follow Affleck on TikTok, you'll see some of the videos I worked on. It's like an ASMR one and a couple other ones. And that was really fun. So I'm excited to talk. Me and Mav are very aligned on this topic, and sometimes I like to debate Mav just to debate him. Is this fun sometimes? But I think we're pretty aligned on this one. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be a good show for sure. I'm ready to talk about the things we're not supposed to talk about.
Yeah.
So let's do it.
All right. Yeah. And then we also have the realist one himself, also known as a Debbie Downer sometimes because he keeps it so real. But he's also a lore master, and he is a Star Trek aficionado. What's up to Lore Jasper?
Yo, what's going on? Excited to talk about the things we're not supposed to talk about, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I'm a little scared, to be honest with you, because you know, even when we've been live, our chat's been pretty awesome, and they're like put up with some of the conversation, you know. But usually there's like when you bring up one of these topics, there's somebody, at least one or two people in the chat that you piss off, right? I mean, I've noticed it for a long time, ever since we started our channel. You know, even people you're cool with all the time and stuff, you know, they're all interacting in the chat, and they're, you know, you bring up one of these topics and it bothers somebody, right? And there's several people right now in the community that are really bothered that people are having conversations about things that they don't want to hear about anymore.
Talked about on last FSP, I think it was last FSP, where we pissed Psycho off because we were talking about games being not exclusive anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's okay though. Psycho's allowed to get pissed off.
Yeah, I don't get pissed off often.
But you know, before that, I had to say shout out to all the other shows and podcasts out there. That's awesome. I don't want to see your DMs. All right, I love you guys, everybody out there, but you know, keep the cringy DMs to yourself, please. You know what I mean? Like sharing that stuff out there is kind of weird.
Oh yeah, I see. I know what you're talking.
You know, but I mean, it's, you know, I'm like I said, you know, I can't tell you what to do, right? It just, I don't think it's good for anybody. You know what I mean? So I've seen that some crazy stuff out there the last couple of days, and it's
Community
really
is
interesting.
Weird sometimes, man, it's weird.
It's been extremely weird the last 2-3 weeks, dude. Extremely weird.
In DMs should stay in DMs, like Vegas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The DMs on Twitter are the Vegas of gaming. I don't know.
Trying to find something.
I'm trying to find something, but we got a lot to talk about, guys. So let's talk about the elephant in the closet, the thing everybody started this conversation with, and that's The Last of Us remaster being $70. Now, I'm going to say this. It's not just that game for me. It's every game that started at $70, including the first ones, which was NBA 2K, Call of Duty, Madden, Battlefield. Last on Xbox Ultimate, we talked about now Ubisoft is fully on board, even though they're screwing over console gamers by not giving them the same price that they're releasing Skull and Bones on PC. That actually bothered me more than The Last of Us remake that everybody's talking about today. And everybody ignored the Ubisoft thing last week. But now, you know, $70 games is back in the conversation. I've tried to have this conversation several times. It seems like there's a lot of people having this conversation now, but guess what? There's a lot of people annoyed at this conversation. Now, I've noticed something, though. The same people that are annoyed about the conversation and saying that we're beating a dead horse, we got to stop talking about this, it's been a year and a half, blah, blah, all this stuff. Those are the same people that have been ever okay with it to begin with. Never had an issue with it to start with. And of course they're sick of hearing about it because they were sick of hearing about it the second this conversation started. In fact, some of these people have been championing it. Yes, games deserve to be $70 because they're worth it. I want to pay more for my games because that means they're better. But let me ask you this.
Let me pay 90.
Why not 80? Why not 90, right? Because if that makes your games
pump those
better,
numbers
let's get the games better by spending
Those are
more
rookie
money,
numbers.
right?
Next gen.
Yep.
Did
next
Call of Duty need to charge 70? Did Activision need to charge $70 for Call of Duty, which was the last two games were buggy and broken as hell, and the worst Call of Duties we've actually had in a long time? Did Battlefield need to charge $70, which released, like 3-Bit has an issue with, without even a campaign and also buggy and broken and jacked up? Did it help that game very much? Or did it actually hurt that game? Potentially because it was $70, possibly. Let's see, what else was $70? What about NBA 2K? Do they need to charge $70 when they make so much money off of the My Team mode?
It started off like, wasn't the reason for $70 that people are justifying was for a next gen tax?
It was free.
Yeah,
and then now they're just sort of like, okay,
games
they would
cost
give you-
more than ever to make, and inflation, 3-Bit, it's time, because it's been so long. We've been paying the same price for games for forever now. That's not okay. We have to
I think
pay
at the start
more.
of it, it was also like for example, Call of Duty, they would give you both copies. They give you an Xbox One version and a Series X version. So they're like, hey, whenever you get your new console, you don't have to buy the game. It's just, you already have it. It's $10 extra or whatever.
Yeah.
But I was like, I
Now
already
they
have a
just gave
Series
up.
X. I don't want the Xbox One version.
Exactly.
It was a convenient excuse, really, more than anything, for them to try to charge the $10 extra because a lot of the games were on PC also, and they had higher spec on PC than even on console.
Yeah,
But they didn't charge 70 originally on PC. Even for those games, they charged 60.
I think certain games are still doing the 60 thing.
Except
'cause the
Madden.
PC
Madden cut content on PC.
Yeah, except for that's But I mean, Call of Duty, Battlefield. You have 2K, NBA 2K. I mean, a lot of these games you can play in multiple places, right? And well, they're not going to charge $70 on PC. And if everybody's excuses, why? The people said, they can't go up on PC. You know why? Because PC gamers won't allow it.
Yeah. Why
are fucking console gamers just okay with it? Well, it is what it is. We're on console. You know what? It's why is it okay on console but not on PC?
PC master race and console plebes is how they look at it. It's like, oh, well, I spent all this, thousands of dollars on my PC. I'm not paying, $1 more than what I think the game is worth. But console, you're kind of pretty much held by whatever the companies choose to charge. So I always thought it was funny, considering that you can upgrade the graphics card to improve your computer, and there's no like upgraded graphics card tax. But I mean, other than the price of the card, but you get a new console. Well, yeah, new console tax. Yay. Oh, new controller tax. Yay. It's like, really? Come on.
Yeah, they just add. My whole thing is it does more damage to not say anything. I get the mentality that I get a lot of these people's mentalities because I just get it. I understand where people are coming from. Like, oh, what they say doesn't matter, but you'd be surprised by companies' perceptions of trying to appear positive to the general public by someone constantly saying like, hey, maybe we shouldn't put these games to $70. It's not even worth $70. Like, we'll have better public perception. I know people are going to be thinking about the EAs, the Activisions, and stuff like that, and they're going to try to get the highest amount for as little as possible, like by charging $70 for a game that's probably worth like $40. They're going to try, but I think it does more damage by not saying anything than you're like, oh well, it's expected. That's what companies want to get you to. They want you to get to the point where you're like, okay, I expect it. Then that way,
they want it to be the norm
for everything. They want it to be the norm.
It gave me hope when Ubisoft kind of backed Rainbow Six Extraction back from, I think it was originally supposed to launch at 60, but they're like, we're going to make it 40 because we don't justify it. So that kind of gave me hope that like, oh, these publishers are going to look at their game and actually base value in it or whatever. But it's like, no.
But PlayStation was the first one to not base it on the game when they originally announced the price of Destruction All-Stars.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
And they announced Destruction All-Stars at $70, which we had a conversation back then. Is like, that's just like they're just locking the price at next gen at 70, no matter what it is at the time. And we're like, what the fuck is that all about, right? Then like they got backlash on that. They got a lot of backlash on that. So what did they do? They put it into PS Plus and then immediately put it down to like $20 after that, or $30.
Yeah.
So having a voice matters. Like, and I knew we were fucked with $70 games the moment that the original announcement of the first $70 game was made. I think it was 2K was the first one with NBA 2K. And then all the major outlets like the IGNs and the gaming journalists and the podcasts, like Podcast Unlocked and other shows and like the articles were all written. And everybody was just like, it's time. We've been paying the same price for what. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Nobody's like saying anything. And this was around like 2 weeks after all of these publishers in the middle of COVID had released record smashing numbers, right? like profits that were up like double across the board, like almost every single publisher, right? Had just announced record growth, record numbers. Acquisitions are happening everywhere because there's so much more investment in the gaming industry and all this stuff. And we're in the middle of a pandemic. People are like trapped at home, getting government check to survive, right? And the publishers announced that they're going up $10 on fucking games because of inflation, because of increased development costs, while also saying that their profits and their revenues have gone up like substantially across the board, all these different publishers, and almost most of it is, I think some of them was like 75-80% of the profit was like actual microtransactions and digital purchases and stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. And the first publishers to do it were the ones that have these games that people, they know are going to buy no matter what, like NBA 2K, like Call of Duty, that are
EA, Take-Two,
that are also full of microtransactions. I was against it. I was saying shit. There's a few other people out there that have shows and stuff saying shit. But for the most part, a lot of the podcasts and gaming community is like, oh, it's what it is. I think games are worth $70. That's not the point. They don't need to be $10 more. So why are you just saying, okay, take my fucking $10? Like, I just don't understand that point of view. Like, Psycho, I know you're trying to get in on this, man.
No, it's just weird how it's okay for everyone to pay $10 more when, you know, it's like I don't mind paying $10 more if there's no microtransactions in the game. Like, you're already getting, you're saying that you're giving that $10 more because of cost of making the video game. But when you have microtransactions, isn't that what it also helps as well? Is to help with that high cost of the development cost for the game.
Yeah, and they didn't remove microtransactions for Call of Duty or NBA 2K or anything like that, right? No, there's actually double down on it.
They added more.
Yeah, they added more.
Double dipping, pretty much. And so now they're going to add $10 on top of the microtransactions.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and people are like, hey, it's fine. But yet PC is unaffected. That is like, why? Why is PC this up on this pedestal?
Because PC gamers will shit themselves. Now, I think there's been a couple of games now that have actually done that at 70. And it was a pretty big deal. And there's very people who are outspoken about it. But it's been only a handful compared to the numerous ones. Like Sony's games across the board are 70 now, right? Like, I can like make an excuse for a lot of the PlayStation games, right? Because like you have a lot of them have no microtransactions. They take like 5 or 6 years at least to make. They have huge, massive stories, you know, and you need to make what you can. Also, it's only available on that hardware for now. Anyway, so you also have more of a limited scope of the amount of people that could buy it. So I could make a case for like a lot of the Sony games, but you won't be able to in the future because guess what they're doing now? After they already increased the price to $70, now in the future, guess what? They've already said they're going to add microtransactions to their games.
Well, I think my biggest issue with like the whole $10 charge was just for the controller features when the game is 60 on PS4.
That was a director's cut next gen tax.
Yeah, like that. All right, here's where I have the problem with it. It's like you bought the console that came with the controller. That's, you know, they brag about these features that are in the controller. That's fine, and I understand. Yes, the devs have to program for it. That's great, but the whole purpose is you sold me the console and the controller. Don't charge me this $10 tax every time I buy a game to get those controller features if you're only charging $60 on the previous generation console. That's where I have an issue. If you're going to break it down and just say, you know, 70 across the board for the games, all right, I'll deal with it. But when you come up with stupid nonsense about, hey, it's $10 just so you can have these DualSense features. Motherfucker, I bought the console with the controller. It's like, if I bought the controller separate, maybe I could see some sort of way that makes sense. But if you sold me on the console with that controller, don't charge me every time I buy it. It's like you buy a car, every time you want to use the heated seats, that's 50 cents. That would be the same ridiculousness as far as charging the different price between the PS4 and PS5 for the controller, you know, features. Yeah. It's like, that's the nonsense I don't like. Now, I'll buy a $70 game from them, but they gotta make it so it's like, it's gotta show that it's worthwhile. Like Gran Turismo, it's one of those titles that I went and spent the $70 on, kind of regretting it in some regards. Probably should have waited, but You know, now they got these microtransactions that are out the wazoo, and it's like, what are you doing, Sony? Come on, just focus on making the game great. Don't focus on this microtransaction mess unless you're going to make these new games as a service and they're like starting out as free to plays or at a lower entry price because you expect the people to buy the actual microtransactions. That to me makes sense.
I think a lot of people justify the $70 because, like, in the past, you had the $60 version, and then you always had like a $70 version that gave you like some random skins or whatever. So people a lot of times just bought the $70 version so they could have that exclusive content. Like over time, I think it's just naturally people have been paying $70 for so long. It's like, yeah, whatever. But now that extra skin is going to be an $80 game, so it's like
or 90 or 120 or some shit like that, right? Because we've seen.
I think over time people have just got used to paying $70 because they always got the extra skins or whatever.
Yeah, and people like, well, you'll pay $100 for NBA 2K. Well, because I'm getting all the extra shit. If I wanted the standard version, I would get the standard version. You know what I mean? Like when you're like locking down the minimum entry point of a game to 70, it's always a gamble. Like with the developers and the publishers, when they're making these decisions, it's not like they're like, man, we spent so much money on this game, I don't know if we're going to make our money back unless we charge $10 extra, guys. You know, they're sitting there they're playing this game of like, hey, we're going to release it at 70. We're going to see like how many people, like if we lose out on any sales because of that, right? The higher price you make anything, like you're going to lose a little bit of sales, right? Because there's always like a certain number that some people won't go over, right?
But
so it depends on what the number is, and they're testing that. They tested it with Call of Duty, and they found that people didn't give a shit, right? So that's when it was over. And when that happened and nobody cared, you know, the writing was on the wall. There's no going back now. You know what I mean?
You can take that risk though when you have like that $70 game, because you're like, you may lose people with that $10 extra. Are you going to make back what you would have lost?
Exactly. That's a numbers game. Like they're testing the waters to see if they're going to lose enough or if it's going to affect the sales, how much it's going to affect the sales, and to see what there are. It's a gamble about what's going to bring them the most return on investment, right? 100%. What's going to bring them the most profit is going to. So it's like, even if let's say if we lose 1 million in sales, will that $10 extra make up like for that much more revenue or whatever? And that's the game they're playing, right? Do they need to be 70? No, they're charging that because they think they can, right? And they've proven now that they can, so they will. And once that was proven by EA, 2K, Activision, and Sony, guess what? Like we said from the get-go, other publishers are going to follow suit. And that's why we saw the announcement with Ubisoft Skull and Bones as the first Ubisoft game that's going to be $70 now. And also that they are still holding PC at 60, negating anybody's possible point that the game needs to be $70.
And also,
right?
If you like look in the future, like towards this, like if every game starts being $70 or whatever, studios just gonna be like, well, this game didn't sell, no one likes this game or whatever. So maybe that game was great, but if it didn't sell well or whatever, like you're not getting a sequel because the studio's like, well, this game's dog shit. It didn't do well. So
new IP is even more gamble. What's going on?
Days Gone.
But no, imagine a game like Fall Guys being $70, like, because it's the standard, right? It really comes to the conversation of let's just hit the talking points that people are going to say with this conversation.
Oh,
I just really want to hit those.
Yeah, well, let me give you one. Okay. Oh, you start with yours first. No, I'll give you the next
value
debate.
Subjective, so it doesn't matter.
That's the number one talk. Yeah, that's the number one thing people say.
Yeah, that was like the main one I was thinking about.
What, support the devs?
support the devs.
Right.
But it doesn't go directly in their pockets. It goes to the publisher's pocket. So
yeah, I'm not saying that games aren't worth 70. You can tell me that like certain games to me are worth $150 or $200. It doesn't mean that they should be that price.
I mean, I bought a Wii U just to play Mario Kart 8, so
yeah,
it's like a $400 game.
In a way,
you're the problem,
in a way,
Jasper.
You're there. In a way, I agree, right? Like if Halo. Well, now Halo, I'm starting to question Halo a little bit.
Yeah, but be real. How much would you have paid for Halo? Right? If it was like $200 at launch, would you have paid $200?
If I got like some
Probably not
statues and like other like fancy
maybe
shit,
like 100.
Okay, let me ask you this: if it was $200 and it had like, if it was content complete, and you had to wait like 3 months to play the game and get the standard edition, would you spend the $200 to play it 3 months early and get the content complete Halo?
How many? $200?
$200.
Yeah.
Probably
Oh
not.
my God.
Maybe.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
here's
you
the-
would.
Yes, you
Don't
would.
Yeah, I
lie.
would. I
For-
would because
for me,
I
I would.
bought the I was thinking about what I did in the past with like the special editions, like Halo Reach. I bought the statue when
Yeah.
that first came out. I don't remember how much that was, but I remember for Halo 3 there was a helmet that kind of looks like Jasper's helmet in the back. I remember getting that with the special edition. So that's where I do agree with the argument where value can be subjective to what
But you're also
you
getting
like.
physical items and stuff with that, so it's like
Yeah, but true.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I would buy
Right.
$200 just for the game.
digitally.
You know,
and
it
nothing
would
else.
have
Yeah.
to come with that extra. It's like why else? You know, what would
So
I want?
I got this-
$70 is
I got this
Yeah.
fucker at Five Below for $5. I got like this Master Chief here and these fucking Spartans for $5. I could probably sell this on eBay for like 10 because there's
20,
somebody
yeah.
that might be willing to pay $10 for it because it looks that cool to them or whatever. You know what I mean? I wouldn't pay more than $5 for it because I know where it came from and I know it's shit. But you know what I mean? Somebody might be worth 10. Like value is subjective, 100%. But that doesn't mean if it's a standardized price that we're all been accustomed to paying for a long time, you should raise that bar for everybody. Right?
Yep.
And that's what it is. Now the bar is raised. No matter if it's worth it to you or not, now you have that decision to make. You're more on the fence about certain games. You may have been on the fence before or not. Some games I'm willing to pay $70 at launch. Some games I'm not. There's more games I'm not buying at launch because they're $70 than I would have otherwise, right? Because that bar was raised a little bit. So now I'm more choosy on which games I buy at launch.
Yep.
Because I don't feel
Which
like
makes
a lot of
Game
them are worth
Pass-
$70.
all of this makes Game Pass like an even better deal.
For sure. And that's one of the
Especially with
reasons
Call of Duty coming.
Ubisoft is doing it because they have Ubisoft Plus coming and they are probably going to be trying to get a lot of these console gamers into their service, right?
This was the
Hey,
first
can we
year I
bring up-
waited for Vanguard to go on or Call of Duty to go on sale because I was like, I'm not paying $70 for your crap ass Call of Duty this year. Sorry, Activision.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Well-
Can we bring up Shane's comment? Because I
Sure.
think that's actually something I wanted to
The
comment on.
Xbox.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I think I was initially saying like no, they're not going to because most of their games that have released have been 60 regardless of their quality or whatever. But Psychonauts 2 actually brings it into the conversation now.
Yeah.
That this was the first, I think, Microsoft game, despite that it was on PlayStation or whatever. This is the first Microsoft game that I could think of, unless you guys could think of
It is a
another one that-
special
well,
edition. It's a special
yeah, it's a
edition
special
though.
edition.
It's
You
not
get
a
physical
special?
items. And it's a physical release.
It's-
Some
of the game.
stickers.
it's $60
So they're charging more for the special items
for physical.
the-
It's like a limited. It's like a special release of like with you get like stickers and some other shit. Like
Like
it's
some
like if you were to buy Psychonauts
Digital-
2. Basically,
Digital downloads
basically, there's
lost.
no physical standard edition.
Yeah.
So okay, so they're just charging more for
deluxe.
They're
this-
charging
and-
it.
For
Yeah,
deluxe.
they
It
decided
doesn't,
to
it doesn't
do.
say deluxe or anything else. It just says like from what I saw. I don't know. But
It
maybe
comes with. It says the
It
stuff
doesn't
it comes
call it
with.
deluxe. But yeah, it comes with stickers and it comes with
It
some.
has a special cover on it, I think, or whatever.
Yeah, it comes with some stuff, but I think the guesstimate is that the reason why there is as much of a price hike is not just because of the stickers. It's because since they are doing a limited run of them, it's not like your normal mass production, throw the game out there type of thing. Like if you look at like Deathloop and Ghostwire, those were Microsoft Studios at the time when they released, and they still released at 60. Yes, they had like a $74.99 or whatever edition for like their deluxe edition, but they still only charged 60 upon release, even on PlayStation.
Yeah.
So
it's a limited run type of company.
Okay.
Shizno
I
said
think-
it's not like Microsoft.
Okay,
you know?
that makes
I
that
think
makes sense.
the only
That makes
way we're
sense.
going to know if they're going to charge 70 is when their first true next gen only game
Yeah.
comes out. Whatever they price that at, that's when
when
we'll be able to
Starfield
start
releases,
telling.
are they gonna? If they announce that, isn't it $70? When they announce the pricing for that.
If they announce Starfield at
But
60,
haven't
like-
pre-orders already been up for that?
Oh.
They
for
might have
Starfield?
been.
Well,
I think
no, because there's no special edition pre-order up yet, is there?
I don't know. I know that's like I think it's in the storefront. I think it is at least. I'm not sure. I think eventually Xbox will go up because they were not going to be the only ones in the industry to not charge $70, and I think everybody else is going to go up. Game Pass is a differentiator there. I know that there have been Xbox execs, including Sarah Bond, that's like made statements saying they're not fans of the $70 model. in interviews.
They said they're not. They said they're not fans of games that
NFTs.
try to double charge you.
Yeah, they're not fan of
basically.
NFTs,
Like,
and they're not fan of $70
next
games.
gen. Well, I don't remember if they. I remember them saying with that statement, if we're thinking about the same statement, like games that try to, you have an Xbox
can't
One
find any
version and then
pre-order
a
for
Series X
Starfield.
version of something, and then the Series X version, we're gonna charge you even more money so you can access that version. Like, they're not huge fans of that. I don't remember them saying 70, but I wouldn't be
I
surprised.
think it was
I'm
in
not a
it.
fan
That
of
was a
70,
separate
but-
thing. That was like regarding like
Smart delivery.
yeah, that was regarding a
Yeah, smart
comment
delivery.
that I believe Sarah Bond made in an interview about, I don't even remember what it was. I have to try and hunt for it, but it was like a one little statement in an interview, and it didn't even make like a lot of headlines or anything.
So there was I guess a leaked pre-order or something from GameStop, looks like UK, where Starfield was 70.
Really?
Oh, dang.
70?
So
wait,
maybe
70
it's a
pounds or 70? Or
Oh, wait, yeah,
70
70 pounds.
So it's
Oh,
like,
probably
are
like
they
16.
not just, are they just
How
doing
much
that,
is a
or
game?
that their
Do we have any UK audience here right now? How much is a general game in pounds in the UK right now?
I thought it was less than
65 pounds plus tax, I believe.
This site can't be right. I typed in 70 pounds. It went to $80.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
A pound equals like a dollar and some change. Like the dollar
it's like
isn't as
$1.30
valuable
or something.
Yeah.
Something that not a lot of people talk about also, we're definitely going to keep tackling some of their talking points, but is that prices in America, how much it affects like other places, like, and a $70 game here can go to like 90 and stuff in Australia, and that's just ridiculous. And that means other people,
but they're also,
like,
their economy is a
Australia,
lot different too. Like $10 here is like $20 there. So like
some
they
games,
also
yeah, go ahead.
They're also like, when our minimum wage is like $7, theirs was like 16 or whatever. So like our money is just like different. So like them paying $100 is us paying 70 or whatever. It's like it converts out equal.
So Marlesco says 70 pounds is a standard
70
price for an Xbox game in the UK. So, all right. So I'm seeing on. Okay, so base.com says 50. I don't know what this symbol is.
$103 after tax. I don't know.
We don't know until I see a freaking like GameStop or something, like actual pre-order link for the US. I have no clue. You know what I mean?
With Canada, they get a GST and PST, I think is what it's called. Because I know when I used to sell automotive parts to or ship them to Canada, they get hit almost like with a double tax. Oh, it comes from America and it was made in America? Okay. It's like automatically you get a certain percent tax, and then because of it being an automotive item that could have been sourced in Canada, it's almost like there's another tax put on top of it. So a lot of the increased pricing is taxes or trade stuff that shouldn't be there, but unfortunately winds up getting put into the mix kind of thing.
I mean, we also have to pay sales tax and all that other shit too here. So it's like,
So the
13%.
The one thing, like most, like I'm just gonna be honest with you, like Xbox games aren't going to sell as many anyway because of Game Pass. But most people are gonna play it in Game Pass, right? Like I think at least a large amount. So that's the question. Like I don't want them to use as an excuse and charge more. However, it's interesting to me that they're like one of the last holdouts, right? Like regardless, they're going to be pretty much one of the last major publishers to the party to $70.
Is Nintendo?
Nintendo's still 60, but they got old ass hardware, which we're going to get to in a little while. So if they started charging 70 for, their games stay expensive as hell forever.
I think 2K, the basketball game, I think that came out on Switch. Is that a $70 Switch game?
If it's $70 on Switch, that'd be crazy. Let's get. I want to make the second point that people argue against with the value one.
Yeah.
You know,
So the
they say
value
that-
one, I agree with to a point. I don't know if we fully tackled that, but
Yeah.
my point was with value, where the main talking point with people not wanting to talk about this topic is they're saying, well, value is subjective, so charge us whatever you want. And my whole thing is by being silent about some of this stuff, it doesn't do the industry or gamers any favors, because they're just gonna use that and then just charge us.
Yeah, I mean, you're setting the base price and not what somebody's willing to pay. Like a couple people are willing to pay for it. You know what I mean? That's like, of course, you're always going to find people willing to pay more for something, right? It doesn't mean that's like what it should be worth across the board. Like I said, those shitty toys I just showed you, like $5 at Five Below, that's just because like maybe they could sell them for 10. You know what I mean? Why not put them out there for 10?
And they're not
pieces of shit. Like it's like
we talked about, like in the beginning of this conversation, like they're not charging more because they need it, and then that was the whole thing.
Yes, 100%.
They don't need to charge 70. They are making more profits. It has nothing to do with inflation. Let's get rid of that. It has nothing to do with inflation. They are making record-breaking profits with a lot of these games. It's basically because they can get away with it. They
can maximize the profit even more.
Yes, they slowly introduced different reasons for charging the 70. Like initially, it was the next gen tax. Like, oh, just so you could get extra features.
The director's cut.
Fuzzy was saying the director's cut. Right now, they're just like, okay, sure, this is a 70. Right. So it has nothing to do with like even the PC crowd. I think the PC crowd is a good example of what speaking up can do. A lot of the PC crowd, even they're starting to test the PC crowd too, but like the PC crowd won't have like $70 games for a lot of different games you can look at. Again, EA, they're going to test their waters. Activision, they're going to test their waters, but for the most part, a lot of PC games are still 60, and they'll charge it for 70 on $70 on console. And then that's when you really bring it to the equation. Like, what are you charging $70 for? It's not next gen. You can get the same features on a PC unless you take
it's
them
a
out.
$10 console tax. And I'm sick of being taxed as a console gamer. It's been happening forever now.
You're taxing me for using the console at that point, right? So,
and
go ahead.
Eventually, they brought the console price to match the PC price. They finally went up on PC games after a long time, and now they're going to get now consoles going up, and then eventually PC will go up. The other argument that people make is they'll say like, "Oh, I remember paying $89.99 for Super Mario
Atari
like
700
on back in like 1988. The games should be more." And
no,
it's like
I love that argument because it was cartridges back then. You paid for the chips in
it was
the
new
box.
technology also. It was like it's not like
do you know how much like a movie on VHS was when VHSs first came out? They were like $90 fucking dollars for a fucking movie on VHS. Should movies be $90 now? No. They shouldn't. It doesn't make any sense. Every format when they've come out with like movies are a lot like video games, right? You have a huge development cost, right? Huge production cost. And then you got to release it, and you have your different forms of releasing and making your money on the back end after you've done with the development, and you're trying to get the most return on investment, your most revenue you possibly can for this massive investment that you just made, right? Now gaming is subscription services and selling physical and digital copies of the game, or releasing it for free and microtransactioning the hell out of it, or doing both. Or like in movies, they have subscription services, or they have movie tickets, and then they sell DVDs or Blu-rays or whatever, right? Movies and stuff and music and everything like always was like based on the format, right? So when a new format comes out, it's always more expensive because it's new technology and it went down over time, right?
Yeah.
You know how long we've been having fucking video games on disc? There's not new technology here in the fucking disc and the physical media shit, and digital releases now across the board for the most part, and everything is generated with like random keys, right? That we input to unlock our licenses, right? There's a lot of the times there's no fucking disc, there's no booklet. Even if there is a disc, there's no booklet.
We're buying it empty.
There's no
plastic.
plastic.
Almost 10 years,
nothing. It's just a fucking computer generated code, right? That's the cost of distribution. And then whatever the storefront makes for the sell. And most of them are like 30% across the board. PC, console, different storefronts.
And you still have to download the game if you buy the disc anyway.
Like, and that has not changed, right? You can say, development costs gone up and stuff, but you know what? So is sales across the board.
But
Industry is growing
now,
like massive.
Now the data is not even on the disc for the most part anymore.
Yeah. Usually you're installing the games, which, there was a lot of misinformation going around about the Ubisoft thing today and removal. Like there is truth to this Sony stuff and Germany and also and Ubisoft, I think in Germany and another country removing like access to DLC for a game. The other one that came out today, like with Ubisoft, ended up being
Assassin's Creed Liberation. They're taking it off Steam, and you won't be able to play it.
You will now. It was basically an error or some kind of like misinterpreted like thing on their website, and they've come out and clarified that people will still be able to play the game that they bought it. So, we can talk about digital rights distribution and our rights as consumers too. That needs to be talked about. I don't think people should have to buy physical games to have rights for their digital products, right? Like I think we need to enforce and hope for better in the future, right? Because guess what? Physical isn't going to be coming back in a mass wave. Like digital is going to be the way of the future. So we need to hope for better from these companies and to make sure that we have access to our shit for forever. You know what I mean? And that's what we should be asking of them. And it needs to be important. You know what I mean? So that should be a discussion, but it doesn't mean we need to abandon digital and go to physical because that would be a big step back, in my opinion, in a lot of ways.
I'm surprised that physical has lasted this long. Like if you look at games on PC, and I made this post on Twitter a couple of years ago, I was like, find me a PC game that's mass produced on disc. It hasn't been that way since 2016.
The only one that I can think
limited
of
run
was they did Flight Sim. They did a PC Flight Sim physical release. It was like 10 disc to play the new Flight Sim.
Right.
That's the latest game I can think that actually made a disc for.
And that was a limited production thing. Like that, I don't even think that was Microsoft that did that. That was like a third-party company overseas that did that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like most of
that makes sense with Psychonauts too.
I remember like there was one year I was like, oh, I'm gonna go buy a PC game, and I wasn't aware of this because I didn't play a lot of PC games, right? And I went to the store. I went to like Target, and I don't know. This was probably like 15 years ago or something. And I went and I looked at I was looking at the gaming, I was looking at the console games, and I went over and I looked at the PC games, and I'm like, the fuck are the games? I was like, there's like 3 games, so like in the whole PC section. I'm like, what's there? And they're all old games, old ass games, like 10-year-old games. I'm like, there's like Diablo 2 and like there's some other stuff.
Last
like, what's
PC game I think I got physical was Age of Empires 3. So that was like 2004 or something.
Yeah.
Wow. Dang, that's great.
Mine was StarCraft 2. Was the last physical PC game I bought.
Mine was Counter-Strike Source.
Yeah.
The last one I could find that was mass produced by the actual publisher was Doom 2016. And that one was even a hard one to find as far as where it was a physical disc and not a code. And like I said, that was supposed to be like a limited run. All the other boxes, if you even find boxes, like what Matt was saying, most of them are just cards now. Or you just get a Steam card or something like that.
Yeah.
But physical stuff for PC is going the way of the dodo. Like I think TurboTax 2005 was that was the first year that they had the boxes in the store, and it was just a code.
Right.
I was like, because I'm used to having the disc, and I'm like, oh wait, here's the disc. Oh, there's just a code.
That's funny.
But
our whole point on this is like that means there should be no freaking rise in costs. That's basically the essence of this.
But at the same time,
selling codes.
Some of like once you get it to like a limited thing, like records, they've kind of like they're like people still buy like records that are like old for like
but that's like a physical like limited run like tech collectors thing, which is like what physical gaming I think is going to end up being. That's why
what
like
I'm saying. Like
companies like limited run games are able to charge for these amounts and stuff and make. Because you're making cool stuff. You're giving us things we want, like collector's editions and like steel books and things like that, which is shit. Like it's awesome. It's great. But like standard, like random, like standard editions and stuff across the board. You know what I mean? Being more is for digital games especially is just straight up ass. Which brings me to where we started the conversation with The Last of Us remaster, which I will agree, because in this case specifically, where I'll say like God of War Ragnarok, I can see that. You know what I mean? It's a new game. Even though some say it's DLC or whatever, I don't know. It's been a long time making it, and there's no microtransactions that we know of right now, and anything like that. But this other game, the Last of Us remaster, has already been remastered, or this remake. Sorry.
That's a remake. This is a
but
remaster,
it has
right?
less content than the original.
No, this is the remaster.
This is the remake. This is the remake.
Yeah, the remaster is the beginning of PS.
I thought it was a remaster.
No, this is a remake.
It's a remake of the remastered?
Yes.
Pretty much,
It's a remake of the
What?
remaster.
I'm so confused.
It has
so you have
combat or some of the move mechanics of
It's
The
a
Last
remake
of Us
because
2.
there's different stuff in it now. So.
Yeah.
It's a new game, right? It's a new game, but it's a remake of the original game that has less content
of the remaster,
because it does not have multiplayer, because they separated it out from The Last of Us that was supposed to be there to begin with in Last of Us 2.
Oh, they took out content and charged
they took
more
off the
money?
whole multiplayer.
Yeah, the multiplayer mode isn't
What?
there.
What? If Xbox did that, you damn well know that people will be in the streets, pitchforks and torches saying, this is bullshit, but it's okay.
Psycho.
No,
Psycho,
but,
it's okay. You
but
know
value
why?
is subjective,
They're gonna-
Psycho.
Oh, yeah.
Value is
Fuck!
subjective, so it's fine.
I
And
forgot.
also,
it's a
they could
triple
charge you for-
standard for gaming. I forgot.
They could
Well,
charge you
they
for it
did
later.
show that artwork for factions at the Summer Games
Oh,
Fest, right?
wow,
I
that's
mean,
all
that's,
they fucking made in 8 years.
Oh, yeah.
Was
I
it?
love
Did
this
anybody
stuff.
else notice that the Last of Us remake characters look like 30 years older than the original characters?
They look like they have more weight on them. Like they look a little chunkier. Like I don't,
Like
that's not
chunkier?
a bad thing. It's just
What's the
Well,
girl
I guess
that
it's to match
was
the movie.
not Ellie, but what's the girl that was with Joel? You know, like she was like part of.
Tess.
What was that?
I don't know.
Tess.
Yeah, Tess. She looks old as shit in the remake, man. Like she she got aged like 20 years. Did anybody notice that?
Yeah.
Like in the
No, I
in the
did.
footage?
I
Yeah.
did.
I don't have an
Yeah,
issue with it. I'm just bringing it to like it's a very drastic difference. Now maybe it's better, maybe it's more true to the character. But it was
looks
just
more
it
like
was like shocking how much older they were.
Yeah.
The characters like Ellie and Tess, like they're supposed to, they basically morph their faces to look more like the actors and the actresses because of the mocap for like the lips and stuff, so it could more resemble their performance. So that's why their face has morphed a little bit. And,
right. So,
but yeah, I mean it's fine. Charge 70, take out a few features, sell it to us later.
yeah, it's got haptic, I think, so that's good, right?
Oh, so they added that. That's the
Oh,
feature they
wow!
added.
Let's bring this.
It's
Let's bring this comment up from Steel. He says, "Bro, no update for Last of Us multiplayer in 6+ years." You know what? Psycho. I mean, Steel Rain. I don't know if you remember, but we did get an update. We got a piece of concept art at the Game Awards,
Summer Games Fest.
and we got 10 minutes of them talking about it. It was glorious.
It was
So,
better than
you're
any
wrong, Steel.
CGI
Yeah,
Actually,
we got
trailer.
concept art of a map.
concept. Is the best. That's,
Yeah.
that's
We
the
got a
new-
picture.
And people were excited.
Was
it
so
two
excited.
pictures or a picture?
Yeah.
It was
It
one
was a-
picture.
It was the concept
yeah, it was
art
just
picture.
concept art.
It was a still.
It was a
Okay.
little,
Yeah.
it was a little
Still.
piece of cardboard that they had with like a picture of it, and they like.
Yeah.
It's,
got
it's,
we got
it's,
this.
crayon.
they
I did
probably,
my
it
homework.
probably wasn't real concept art. It's probably a fucking postcard they got at the hotel in LA when they're staying there. It's like nobody will know. We gotta give them something.
They wanted freaking praise for a picture. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, that was insane to me. That and the fact that people are questioning whether or not they're going to actually charge you later for the multiplayer it's infuriating. It's actually infuriating.
I'm sure they'll make.
No,
it better be
it'll
free
be.
to play.
It's free to play. They've already said that.
It's free to play.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
It's free to play. It's going to be microtransactions
I mean, not good,
out the
good.
ass.
That's what they
which
say
is
right now. But maybe they
That's
add
true.
more content to it, so they'll be like, "Well, we've put so much into it, we have to charge for the game."
You're right. You're right. They may change their mind because they were supposed to get it with The Last of Us 2.
I'm going to call it now. It's not going to be free to play. I mean, they'll call it free to play, but it will require a PS Plus subscription.
Okay. Oh.
It won't be like other free to play
Extra
games.
or essentials?
It'll require the basic one.
Well, that's because you have to pay to play
have online
multiplayer.
features,
But you can pay to you don't have to pay to play free to play games on PlayStation.
No, you don't. Xbox did that actually.
They did. They took it away now.
Finally got rid
but
of it,
this one will be different. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, this one's gonna be different.
You didn't have to do pay for PS Plus, I think, for Fortnite or anything along those lines. But for factions, you'll have to have a PS Plus. Watch.
Yeah. Still give me money. Okay. I'm gonna give you half a game, and then once I give you half the game, I'm gonna charge you for it later, and I want your money. And it's $70. So I'm gonna give you half the game, and I'm gonna give you $70, and I want the money now. Actually.
Yeah. And I'm gonna charge you again later when I put the stuff I took out and made it a standalone game again.
See,
that's just so bad.
Watch
that
this
really
remake. Watch the multiplayer just be a remake of Last of Us Part 1 multiplayer. So it's like, look, it's HD. So you got all the same maps you used to play 14 years ago.
But no, Jasper, they've put a lot into this to where it's become so big that it can't be part of the Last of Us 2 anymore. It's its own thing, even though all they have is a piece of concept art. So how does they even know what the fuck it is right now? And
you're not supposed to be excited over the concept art? I mean,
guys,
come on.
this game is massive. We cannot even fit it in the fucking Last of Us 2, which is just digital, which you could actually anyway. I don't understand how that works. But
if you're a true fan, you would have recognized that the concept art was a famous city or whatever that they had in the Last of Us.
Right. But like
actually.
It was Pearl City.
It's so massive in their heads right now, what they're about to make. You know what I mean? That they're gonna give it to everybody for free. And it's gonna be amazing.
Honestly, that's what I hear when people say, charge me more money for games. Like these conversations is basically what goes through my head when they're like, charge me more. And we just talked about value subjective, so I don't need to go over that again. But like having a game like Last of Us, even if you poured so much resources into it, and these devs, I've been seeing them like talk on Twitter, and they're like, I'm super passionate about it. I'm like, great, awesome. Still doesn't subjugate it to be $70. But especially if you're giving you had the original game that had the multiplayer, you had all this and of course the single player, and you're taking out the multiplayer, and you're probably going to put it as a separate package, even though you're taking out a feature that people loved in the first game, and then you're still charging that 70, and it's a remake of a remaster. You already did the game 3 times, and you're still charging $70. It really brings into the conversation of like what $70 is like how much can they actually do this with games that aren't worth the $70? It's really frustrating that they can like do this. I don't know, should give you half the content and then still charge you the 70. like at least some devs, they'll be like, sorry, we can't do the multiplayer in time, we don't have we decide to downgrade to 40 or 60, and thank you for playing our game. Sony's just like, no, screw you, give me money. And regardless of what the actual game, what the runtime is, whatever, $70 is our base regardless. And that's to me is definitely crazy.
Yeah, for me, it would have worked out better if they did kind of like what they did with Miles Morales. Like, go ahead and make it where it's the remaster of or the remaster of The Last of Us 1, and then throw in like a HD up-res for The Last of Us 2 for the PS5, because I don't think they've done that. I don't know if unless they've done like a 60 frames thing.
They did a 60 frames update.
Make it so it's like a bundled deal. You get both of them for for the $70 price tag if you're not going to have the multiplayer. That to me, I would come out of pocket for 70. At this point, the way it's set up, I'm thinking 50. So for me, I guess I have to wait for a sale. So it is what it is. But it just seems weird that they would do less and charge you more. But subjective, whatever. I get it. Great game. Not $70 worth for me. And that's just me.
Again, it's subjective. So people, like it's a subjective thing. Personally, that game isn't worth $60 for me. So I'm not going to buy it just because I don't give a shit about it anyway. You know, I don't like The Last of Us.
$40. Yes,
So-
what Steel says, $40. Like that's a great price because you're ready. The game has been
Yeah.
made like 3 different times. It doesn't matter how much polish you put in it. It's like it's a game that you already know the beginning, you know the middle, you know the end. You've played it probably several times. The audience that's going to play this game is most likely already played it. So it's like I don't know.
I'll play it
just
when it's
crazy
in
to me.
PS Plus Extra.
Is it gonna? I don't think it'll go to PS Plus. For a
It'll
while.
be
Maybe in 6
a
months.
year and a half. It'll be there.
Think so?
Yeah, and then I'll play
Even
it
if
then.
you look at like people always give shit up on Nintendo like remaking their same games over and over, but like they did a really good job with Super Mario All Stars 3D or whatever. They gave you Mario 64, they gave you Mario Sunshine, and they gave you Mario Galaxy, all for $60. That's 3 full games. Like they weren't like fully remade. They like did some stuff to it, but still, like that's 3 full games that you could play for $60. So it's like that's kind of where I'm like,
Yeah.
does that equal 1 game for 70 that's losing content?
Ooh,
You know,
Steel, they better not.
But you could
They better
argue
not.
that's not as bad as what Nintendo does, at least.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna get into Nintendo now, because this is the
We need to
show
talk about
where
Nintendo.
we're talking about things we're not supposed to discuss, like Nintendo's shitty treatment of their customers and outdated ass hardware. So
Right before we get to Nintendo, can we
okay.
mention Shane's comment again?
yeah,
He talked about that whole SSD thing. Here's
Oh,
the
with
thing.
Final Fantasy?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
that's not about Xbox.
It's not. It's not.
The
It's not
PS4
Xbox.
versus PS5.
It's about PS5 versus the PS4. The game's going to require an SSD.
Yeah.
Does
Okay.
it do that for PC
Okay.
though?
I think they got to, because they
It's not
they
on
can't.
PC though.
Well,
I thought it was on PC.
You wouldn't be able to control that on PC. If
Not
you can
at
buy the game, you can
launch.
play it. Your game would take 30 minutes to load or whatever.
Someone confirm. I'm pretty sure they're like it's not on.
I think it's coming to PC, but not right away. Possibly, I'm not sure. Square,
Also,
maybe
who
it
doesn't
is
have
PC
a
day one. I'm not
fucking
sure.
SSD on PC at this point.
But I think the game's going to require an SSD. I think that's what it's going to be. I think it's going to be a minimum spec that it's going to have an SSD. We don't have that information yet, but I think it's going to at least have a minimum spec of a really fast, better than what would be on a PS4 fucking hard drive. I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
So basically,
So
what
they're
they're
just
saying is,
mentioning PS4 to
yeah, this is
PS5,
not about Xbox.
other-
People like there was somebody on Twitter that is kind of a little bit known for this stuff, taking an excerpt from an interview and putting it out there without any context, without any link, and it makes it seem like it's about Xbox. I remember seeing the interview like yesterday. I don't know where it was, but I saw it on Twitter. I actually read the article, a good portion of it. It was regarding why didn't they bring the game to PS4. That's what it was regarding. So it spread around Twitter because people thought it was PS5 versus Xbox Series X, saying that it was only possible on PS5 because of the power of the SSD, like the bunch of the Unreal shit that we heard about, like when the PS5 was first announced.
Or even
Yeah.
Godfall for that matter.
Yeah, I mean,
only
Ratchet and Clank,
Yeah.
all that fucking horseshit stuff that we
That
heard
makes sense.
about. You know,
Okay.
so that's why people were like, "Oh, what? Well, this is bullshit." But it's just about PS4 versus
Okay.
PS5.
I mean, it's
right?
not super ridiculous because people have said it before. That's why I was like, really?
Yeah.
Like people have said it.
No,
with
I agree. That's why
Unreal.
I think the tweet was purposefully, possibly supposed to get people a little bit riled up.
Okay. Understand.
know.
All right, we can move on to Nintendo. I was just wondering because I've seen that around about it. I didn't like dive into it.
I
That
guarantee
makes
you
sense.
there's going to be podcasts that have that as a talking point and just run with it without any fucking researching or even finding out what it's actually about.
You got to research what? No, I'm just kidding.
And this is how misinformation spreads, man. There's two things I can't stand in the gaming community right now on Twitter, social media and stuff. The number one thing that I can't stand, that I've been adamant about this from the start when I started this channel, it's one of the reasons I started doing podcasting on our channel and stuff. I'm sick and tired of spreading of misinformation, especially when people know it's misinformation or trying to manipulate information, and especially from the people that know it's misinformation and use it as talking points on their shows. If you it's disingenuous, a lack of integrity. It's all about the numbers. It's just about fanboy clickbait shit. I hate that stuff, right? I absolutely despise it. There's podcasts out there and there's shows and stuff that's all they do. And it's annoying as shit. And a lot of them are PlayStation shows, right? There's some Xbox ones out there too. But we don't do that here. I may get some stuff wrong. If I get stuff wrong, it's because I'm an idiot and I just got it wrong, right? I'm not purposely trying to spew misinformation out there, right? But the second thing is when people try and gatekeep conversations. You can't be the fucking conversation police on Twitter. This happens last year when we were all talking about acquisitions, like who's Xbox going to acquire next, and we had to.
People were so mad that like we were talking about acquisitions. I was like,
dude, everybody was fucking like,
the name of your channel.
Let's
please refer to the name of this channel. It's literally fun speculation. Like we have fun.
We had a blast.
I don't know what that means, but you're wrong.
Pong and I.
You can't have fun.
Sorry.
Stop having fun.
Before PM and the PM existed, we had a show where me and Pong actually did a 2-man show, and we talked about like all these different possibilities of acquisitions. Right. The very next day, I saw about 30 tweets from like people in the gaming community, like prominent Xbox podcasters and people on Twitter, like. You can't. So everybody needs to stop talking about acquisitions. Stop talking about acquisitions. Blah, 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 blah. Guess what? A few months later, fucking Xbox bought Activision Blizzard. Okay?
Nobody saw that coming.
Nobody saw that coming. But for the fucking other shit that we were talking about, completely possible. You know what I mean? Like, you get, like, stop gatekeeping conversation, right? Like, if we want to talk about $70 games and how we're not happy with it, we are. If you don't like it, I don't give a shit. I see people on Twitter like all the time. Stop it! Stop beating the dead horse. I saw today. I saw people like saying like, when are people going to stop talking about this? It's been a year and a half. Those same people are the same people that never had a problem with it to begin with. Of course, they're gonna have an issue with people keep talking about it now, right? Like, stop telling people what they can have an issue with, what they can talk about, and it's just like we're gonna discuss what we want to fucking discuss. Either on Twitter, here. Now, when it's relevant, and it's relevant right now, right? Like, it's got brought up. There's a reason for it. Now, we've been consistent on this either. We're not flip-flopping like some other motherfuckers out there as well. You know what I mean? So, just saying. Next up, Nintendo's outdated piece of shit hardware that's like 6 years old. Like, it's less powerful than an iPhone 6. And how they treat people like shit by releasing remasters that are half-assed for 3 months at a time and remove them from the stores, and they never go down on the price of their games. What's up, Nintendo? Like, how come you never get called out? Right? We're sitting here talking about $70 games and remasters and stuff not being worth it. Like, come on, Nintendo's not bulletproof.
Yeah, I mean, none of the companies are, to be honest.
But. Yeah. So we're gonna, because we're not allowed to talk about that. Let's get into it a little bit. Nintendo, what's up?
So if I got a recommendation, if you just want to play Nintendo games and you have a Steam Deck, just do that. That's
emulate it,
than a Switch.
Yeah, so. It's more of a fluid experience at higher resolution, higher frame rate. Yeah, emulation is the way to go on the Steam Deck for that. I mean, who needs a Nintendo Switch Pro at this point?
There's so many videos that Nintendo keeps taking down because
Nintendo's always been behind on hardware though. Like
they have, but not this behind. They've been behind in the console space. Now they don't even fucking have a console. You know what I mean?
It's a console, kind of portable, sort of.
Mav doesn't like calling
the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck is more of a console than the Switch is.
True.
The Switch is
nobody calls the Steam Deck a console.
Do you play your Steam Deck decked or docked or whatever, or do you just play it?
No, but I could. You know what I could also fucking play on a screen? I could play my phone on a screen. I could also play an iPad on a TV.
Most phones are powerful.
Hold on. I just want to get Mav's line here straight. So you bitch about the Switch because you don't want to play it portable. You want to play it on your TV. But do you only play your Steam Deck portable?
Yeah, because the screen's a lot bigger and it's a lot better quality, and the games have higher fidelity, so they look better too.
No, I would do the same actually. If I had a Steam Deck, I would play it more portable than I would
my Switch portable, to be honest, anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Well, Nintendo, like I would play it like portable if it was good. Like I'm sorry, like the games like are just so like I feel like they've left me as a customer, right? They've abandoned me. You know what I mean?
They have.
They've abandoned a lot of people, and they're like rehashing shit all the time. They take forever to come out with a fucking game. You talk about Xbox, like lack of first party stuff. The only games that Nintendo releases pretty consistently are like Mario fucking rehashes, right? Like of different Mario this, Mario that, blah blah blah. Where's Metroid Prime 4?
Right, it's decked. It's decked right now. It's decked on the shelf.
Yeah, I don't even want Metroid Prime 4 to come out on the Switch, to be honest with you.
That's probably why they can't bring it out.
It's probably not, to be honest, either.
Here's the thing with, I mean, we've had the tech discussion, but it's the Switch. What's in the Switch, like hardware wise, it makes it so a lot of developers don't even want to develop for the Switch because of how weak it is.
Right.
If you somehow develop for the Switch, it's like a miracle. Like wow.
Yeah.
And some games have to actually change their art style just to be able to say like, oh, it's like a painterly game. I could, but really, it's hardware limitation.
But the one thing that they do. The reason they do put it on there is because Switch has 150 million consoles or whatever out there. So they're like, that market's
150 million portables out there, handhelds. Yeah. Now, what I would say is, like, it makes a lot of sense what they're doing. I don't necessarily have an issue with it if the hardware was better capable and more powerful. But, like, it's not because it's very, very outdated handheld now. Like, it's not just an outdated console. Like, the Wii U had more features than the Switch. The Wii had more features than the Switch. Like,
did it though?
It did.
What did it have that the Switch doesn't have?
The whole virtual storefront. It had the Wii U had back compatibility to the Wii. You had
I guess back compatibility. That's about the only thing.
No, I mean they had the whole Miiverse thing on there. They had you had a lot of like online games. You had way more different games to buy. You had back compat that went back to the old NES games. You could buy those games. And guess what? They abandoned
you get that with your Nintendo subscription now.
They abandoned all of those customers that had bought all that content when they went to the Switch. So if you bought digital content on the Wii and the Wii U, you got fucked unless you still own a Wii or a Wii U. You can't play that shit if you own a Switch. You have to get the fucking subscription service. So even if you bought all this back compatibility stuff. Also, the Wii U had the second screen, plus it had the console experience, and it had back compat, and it had all these other things, right? And it was just as powerful as the Switch. They went backwards on hardware.
They did.
Because to fit it in a handheld.
At the time, to make it portable, you had to, like, the technology back then, like, when they were making it portable.
No, exactly. Exactly. That's my point. Back then, they had to do that, right? So let's get something now to where that's... Like, if they release a Switch today, it would be a lot more capable, right?
It would be like a 360.
It would just...
No. But it's like, why so many people was, like, really excited about a Switch Pro, when those rumors came out, like, oh, it's going to be a Switch Pro. It had all these journalists saying it's going to be a Switch Pro, and it came out, it was a Switch with the better screen.
And no enhancements to the power or anything at all whatsoever. The only actual... upgrade we got hardware wise besides the screen was an Ethernet port in the dock,
and I
battery. I think their servers were running on Windows XP or something. I'm not even kidding. I'm pretty sure their servers was running on like, was it XP or was it like Windows 2000? It was like really old.
It was XP, and they were rating, and they're gonna upgrade to I think 2000 or Windows Me. I think. So,
wow. It sounds like it's a joke, but it's really not. They some of their, it's like, I don't know. It's so crazy to me how far back they are in terms of that. But people sort of just like, Nintendo.
I just like, I used to like the last great Nintendo console was the GameCube for me personally. I love the GameCube. I did not like the Wii with the whole motion control. That wasn't for me. I didn't like it. the GameCube was the last great console for me, and since then I have not looked at a Nintendo. The Switch it's great handheld. It's probably the most powerful handheld for Nintendo they ever made, but not as a console. And for them to brand it as a console, and you can't run a freaking potato on this thing.
Like half the games
It's
out
like, it's like, come on, like you wonder why people can't get Call of Duty on the Switch. There's no way they're gonna freaking. It's gonna be like stick figures on the freaking for this thing.
It Call of Duty on Nintendo. The last
Stick
one was
figures.
like I think Modern Warfare, the first Modern Warfare, or maybe the first Black Ops was on the Wii. So they've done it before.
It costs devs
on
more
the
money.
Wii, not the Switch.
It costs devs more money to downgrade their game.
Yeah,
and then
they got to
put
remove
it to
a
the
shit
Switch.
ton of features.
They basically got to remove features in order to fit it on the Switch. It's crazy.
Now, I think eventually, like the Switch is more like, I think it could end up becoming more of like a cloud machine over time, right? If they don't like upgrade the damn hardware, they got to have a new Switch at some point, right? But then when the new one comes out, maybe it'll be capable. The second thing I got to call Nintendo out on this is, how long has the Switch been out for? Like 4 years, 3 years?
2017.
Yeah.
It's the same damn price that it was when it launched.
It's Nintendo. Come on. You know their sales are only like 5 cents off on their games on a holiday? Come on.
You know how much profit they're probably making per Switch?
They were making profit day one when the
you know that thing costs like $15 to make, right? I mean, I'm just like,
there was a leak where they saw the Nintendo spent like a couple $1 million buying more hardware recently, so people were kind of speculating that they may be doing a Switch revision or whatever. But
a Switch 2, you know, if you get, I used to think it was mainly about the resolution, but the Series S has actually taught me a lot of things, right? It's not about the resolution, it's about the fidelity of the games that are actually running on the system, right? And it's about the capability of the image that it's able to produce, right? And that's my biggest issue. When I put it on a big screen, it just looks like dog shit. And I don't want to play games that look like dog shit. Even if it's a game
portable.
If it's a game I'm extremely excited about, right? And you put it on a big screen, it looks like ass. And I don't want to play those games. I've been burned too many times. Now, those certain games work fine. Like, you know, you got your Mario Karts, you know, you got your fucking Mario games, you got your Mario games, and you got some of your Mario games, and those look great. You know what I mean? But like the other games that you may want to play on it, they just don't look so hot. Like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I was so burned on that shit. I was so excited. Fire Emblem 3 Houses, I was walking around the castle around that school, and it's just fucking gray walls, gray floors, boring looking weird triangle faced people and stuff. And it was just like, this is not fun. You know, I'm sorry. I felt like I was back playing on a PS2.
You see, though, the thing is with that, sometimes I'm a little bit nostalgia because I kind of like those like shitty PlayStation 2 graphics. You're like, some games are like, oh, that's nice.
I agree, but I'll play old ass retro games if I want that experience. Like, I'm not saying that Nintendo needs to be a Series X or a PS5, right? But they could be a fucking Xbox One or a PS4 or a One X, PS4 Pro. They could have the Series S, right? If they had like a $300 console that was like almost as powerful as the Series S, it would be amazing.
They do have almost a $300
like
console.
25 years.
They have
might have Series X power.
They have a $300 dockable handheld device.
Yes,
that's what they have.
Yes, and it won't be anywhere near. It'll probably, like Jasper said, it'll probably reach the 360.
It'd be 1080p machine next Switch.
That they release 4K,
which is fine.
Or not 4K. They release 4K remasters of. That's not capable of 4K. Sorry, I'm sorry. I take that
1080p.
back. 1080 remasters of old Mario games that they release for 3 months at a time.
Some are 720.
And also Breath of the and not Breath of the Wild, the Zelda remasters also. They just get like resolution updates pretty much.
They look exactly the same. Yeah. They do the comparisons. It looks exactly the same.
When it comes to Sony, like if you tell me like Sony's game at 70 with the Last of Us remake versus like the Zelda ones that they've given us and the Mario things that they've done for Nintendo at 60, I'll take the fucking Last of Us at that point. You know what I mean?
Mario, you got 3 games. I'll take the Mario one all day.
Yeah, the Mario one did give you 3, but the Zelda one only gave you 1, right? The Zelda only gave you 1.
Yeah.
There should be no reason why, like, most of the time I play the Switch when I used to play with like Lady and the crew, like we had to play on Xbox to have a party chat so we could play on the Switch.
Yeah.
Because the online is just garbage. So it's like at that point where even like our modern generation of gamers who like the people who are gaming right now, they're mostly playing online, right? They're mostly playing with their friends. A lot of these games are like Call of Duty, the Apexes, Call of Duty, all those games that Madden, right? I'm just thinking about all the games that people like to play over and over, and those games are terrible on the Switch. They're absolutely terrible. So I wonder if it's gonna hit Nintendo, if it's ever gonna hit Nintendo to the point where they need to change their hardware because developers don't want to develop for the Switch.
That's the only thing that will get them to produce.
Unless you work for Nintendo,
they sell 30 million copies of their own game. Like Animal Crossing, they sold like 50 million or whatever.
But that's what I'm saying. Will it get to the point where like developers like,
I just can't figure out how to put it in on this anymore. I'm sorry. Like, what are we gonna do?
Like, listen, I'm done. I know. I need better hardware.
We're gonna see like fucking circles just looking around the screen and just squares and triangles. Like, and this is called Circle the Game. Check it out.
It's the high def resolution of Pong.
Right.
Yeah.
Check out Mario 64 Remake 3.
I mean, but it is kind of impressive what they're putting on that. Like the new Pokemon games are all like a big open world experience and like shit. That
it takes a lot of innovation to have to put things on such a shitty device. I'll say. They've innovated a lot. They've had to come up with amazing things, and that goes back in the day. I mean, Nintendo's always had our outdated and less powerful hardware. Yeah. Just not this far behind everybody else ever. But they've always had handhelds, right? But they also always had the console.
There's
right?
tile in their grass, Jasper,
See?
and the Pokemon. There's tile in the grass. And Cakes, I'm talking about.
Yeah, GameCube was like the last powerful console they had. Like that thing was.
That thing had Resident Evil 4 on it.
Yeah, and so I mean that was like the last. That was like the last time Nintendo.
The Wii U was pretty capable for its time. They just didn't have any games for it.
Well, they didn't give 2 fucks about it because they saw the handheld.
They fucked up the name, so no one knew what it was.
The Switch. That's what they were like. Oh, you know what? People use. They're just. I think that was the Wii U was just trying to get people familiar with holding something, and then boom, here's the Switch.
They didn't show the console when they announced the Wii U. They showed the fucking gamepad thing, and people were like, "What the fuck is this?" They thought it was like an attachment for your Wii. Yeah. And like people didn't understand what it was. And the casual audience, and I knew what it was. I was excited. Yeah. I got one. I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I played all my Wii games, and there was new games that I got to play.
Just got Mario Kart 8 and then sold it.
Right. I think didn't Breath of the Wild even come out for that for the Wii U?
Yeah. Breath of the Wild was the last, I think, game for it. Really.
Yeah. I just don't fucking get it. It is what it is. eventually we'll get something better. I see slow-mo in the chat. Better than a frisbee that's worth throwing in Lake Winnetaka. I think is that what he said it's worth. Yeah. It's just come on. I want Nintendo to do better, right? As a gamer, right? As somebody who loved Nintendo, come home. Come back to me. Start making shit I care about. Release a piece of hardware capable of running good stuff, Breath of the Wild 2.
Money hand over fist now, so they're like, we're out. We're just gonna stay in this lane.
I played it and it's cool. It looked like shit on my big screen TV. That's for sure. It did. I'm sorry, it was grainy as hell.
Play it portable.
Yeah,
grainy as hell.
Do not when it comes to Nintendo, please don't be sorry because they are really like behind on a lot of different fronts, and the fact that they still charge their prices never go down.
Yeah,
the fact that they'll still charge you $60 for a game that came out like in 2017.
Yeah, launch games on the Switch are still that price probably.
Yeah, I only play like 2 Nintendo games maybe a year. Like I'll get Zelda, the new big Zelda. I won't get the 2D one. I'll get the new big one, 3D, and maybe a Mario game, and then Pokemon if it's getting like they actually did something different with it.
Yeah. All right, so next thing that we're not supposed to talk about, guys, is this was like the very first thing that we got a lot of criticism for talking about, and that was acquisitions, right? I actually made a fuck you video, I think, or I went live kind of after we got so much backlash for talking about acquisitions so much last year, that it was very interesting. Now, there's really not much acquisition talk to talk about, but I just want to talk about it to say fuck you again. We're going to talk about acquisitions. So
what happens when acquisitions acquire other companies?
Yes.
Yeah, what happens when an acquisition becomes another acquisition?
I'm actually really looking. I actually do like talking about acquisitions because it does. It's one of the few things in the industry, like you have games that certain games that come out every 4 or 5 years that do push the industry forward in some regard, like maybe but acquisitions is one of those things where you're like, okay, this can actually change the landscape of this console, of what they're releasing, how Game Pass is going to be, or even Sony's side. Sony's also making a ton of acquisitions. I think they just fully stated
Haven.
today, Haven.
Yeah.
And what does that look like? They're already saying that it's changing the outlook on their studios. So it's just fun, sort of, to speculate of what that means for us as gamers. Like, what does it look like 5 years from now that Microsoft fully acquired Activision? We're gonna get like side Call of Duty games. Are they gonna team up with other studios like ID Tech? Like, things like that is really
It's fun
for me to talk about.
The possibilities, right? Like not everything we talk about has to be grounded in reality. It's about possibilities, about things that could happen, about fun things. Like what would happen if that happened? You know what I mean? Like what game would they make? What, you know what I mean? That's like shit. That's fucking fun, right? Like, I mean, there's new possibilities at hand with Microsoft right now because they're so invested into gaming and they're acquiring all these studios, making new partnerships and all this stuff. They've going to be acquiring Activision Blizzard, like you said, and I don't think they're done there. And I think they're going to be acquiring more studios once that deal is finalized, because they've been pretty much handicapped now, not being able to get in on these
anymore because they'd be a monopoly at that point, Mav.
Oh,
well, that's why they had Activision.
Monopolies are very subjective.
Studio. What was that studio of like 100 devs that's going to probably be pretty much rolled into Blizzard to help with World of Warcraft?
Oh yeah,
or whatever.
Spellbound.
Haven was acquired by PlayStation. That went final today. So that's one that But since we got backlash last year, we're talking about acquisitions. Since then, Bungie's got acquired. Activision Blizzard got acquired. I think Haven is one that got acquired. That one started around that time too. This is not something that's stopping. We've also seen Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, the western side of Square Enix get acquired. We've also seen Embracer Group get they got them, but who else? Somebody got Codemasters. EA got Codemasters. It's like all of these things have been happening, and it's like people want you to stop talking about acquisitions. They're like, fucking everybody's on the move right now. You know what I mean? Like, we've had rumors about Ubisoft looking for like an investment company to try and stave off an acquisition. We hear about
same thing with the EA. EA was up for sale for a bit.
See, the thing is that people, I think they want to stop hearing the acquisition. Is because people, come out there and it's like, it's acquisition season, folks, and things like they just like make up things and like it's facts. So instead of what we do is the just speculating, like what if scenarios, other people just like to come out and say
this is happening.
I think the problem with the acquisition talk is people are afraid that the game that they love is going to be taken by a platform that they don't play on. I think that's kind of
that's why they don't?
You think that's the heart of the conversation?
There was a lot of Xbox creators like shutting down the acquisition talk last year, and it was that's the one that really rubbed me the wrong way. And I was like, the fuck, you guys been talking about acquisitions for like a year, and we have a show and we talk about all these acquisitions, and we're on Twitter talking about possibilities because we're getting excited because chatter is starting to ramp up a little bit, and then you have like 6 or 7 like big time creators or whatever in this community anyway, like try and shut it down. Like, no, people stop talking about this. You can't talk about this anymore. It doesn't make any sense to talk about this. Why would you talk about this? The same thing that people are doing with the $70 games thing right now. It's the same. That's why I got fired up today. I'm like, I'm sick of like fucking conversation police. Shut up. I want to talk about what I want to talk about. Like,
stop having fun, man.
And I know you may not be directing it at me personally, but when they make these like posts or whatever, and it's like directing, when I make a tweet and I'm like, oh, blah, 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 and then immediately I see somebody else make a post, you shouldn't talk about this. Even if it's not directly related to me, I fucking feel like it is. Okay, what I mean? Because I just made a post talking about that shit, and I just had a podcast talking about that shit. So when you say don't talk about that shit, I just fucking had a podcast talking about that shit. It feels like it's directed at me
tonight, being like, "Hey, we shouldn't talk about the things we shouldn't talk about in games or whatever." These people talk about the things we shouldn't talk about are assholes.
I just don't get it. Like, why are we not allowed to fucking have these conversations?
I honestly think it comes from a place of them not trying to appeal, at least with the acquisition talk. It comes from a place of people trying to not appear to be biased. I think like they're like, oh look, I can say like don't talk about Xbox, and look, I'm an Xbox content creator. I appear to be not as biased. I think everyone has their own biases. Like I'm biased towards Xbox, but I'll play PlayStation, Nintendo.
I'm 100% neutral.
I'm 100. No one's 100% neutral, in my opinion. Like it's fine to have your preference for things, and it's also fine to talk and speculate about things of whatever you really want to. I don't think what Matt was saying, you should gatekeep conversation, especially like the $70 thing. I feel like you're helping companies by not talking about it. You are helping the companies further their agenda.
Their break room for their hungry devs.
Yes.
Like,
you're not helping them.
We have 5 podcasts on our side reinforcing our message. $70 games are okay. Hand me some more handy snacks.
They say value is subjective, so I'm gonna charge $80.
I get it. You know what I mean? Like I get the points that people are making with the arguments. I think it's valid. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I think our arguments are valid, right? I don't agree with shutting down the conversation and saying you can't talk about it. You're not allowed to say that $70 games are good or that they should be okay or like whatever. People can have their opinion. I don't give a fuck what your opinion is. Don't try and tell people not to have theirs, right? Like, because you don't agree with opinion. Like, it's just like it doesn't make sense to me. Now, as far as the acquisitions, that was the first thing I remember I got triggered with that, because like it was very hypocritical when that came about last year, right? And there's so many different possibilities still to this day. Now, are they going to happen right away? We don't know when any of these things are going to happen. Activision Blizzard came out of fucking nowhere. Same with Bethesda ZeniMax, right? Same with Bungie. All of these things came out of fucking nowhere. That's why we talk about them randomly at different times when there's like little rumors and chatter, because we don't know when it's going to happen. If you wait till it happens, then everybody's talking about this shit at the same fucking time, right? Like, it's fun to speculate about what the next one is going to be. I have a feeling what Xbox's next one will be. It's just a gut. I don't know, but they probably can't announce anything until after the Call of Duty. Activision Blizzard deal goes through. But I think it'll be Certain Affinity. I just have a feeling about that. It just makes too much damn sense, right? I mean, you got the support studio that's made multiplayer for like 4 different gaming companies out there. Right now, almost all of those are like with Xbox now. After the Activision Blizzard deal goes through, you got fucking Halo, Call of Duty, Doom, all under like that's what they've done is they made the multiplayer modes for all those. Like they have great relationships with all those companies. Max Holberman used to work at Bungie, who's a head of Certain Affinity. There's big time rumors that they're working on not only the Battle Royale game for Halo, but also the Monster Hunter type game, codenamed Suerte for Xbox. Like, you just got a lot of connections there. There's a couple of things like I could look at and be like, doesn't really fit Microsoft's MO because they're making some NFT games for other companies, right, as well. And those are like, okay, that doesn't really fit Microsoft's MO, but that's like a deal that they made, right?
Yeah.
So
them trying to get some moolah.
Yeah, if they may not, if they get under Microsoft's wing, then they wouldn't necessarily need to do that. I think it would be a good fit. It's something that I'm actually hoping for. I'm not going to give any odds on it, but that would be the one I would bet on if I were to bet on one right now.
Sounds like organic growth, what you're talking about.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes. You know what would be crazy is that if the certain affinity Halo BR blows the fuck up and is the only thing that's played on fucking
right.
And it's not made by 343.
Yeah, and then they like and no one like the Halo Infinite's just like sitting there like, hey guys, what's up? Come play me. I got a new skin. Come on. That's that's how
they'll give 343 more time to focus on maybe some DLC for story content or campaign content and stuff. So it could work out in their favor.
They gotta do something.
If Max Hoberman was part of Certain Affinity going there, I fucking want it's almost said like they're greater than 343. I would want Certain Affinity to be in charge of Halo.
At least the multiplayer side of it.
Everything.
Like, have three.
Every fucking thing. I don't give a shit. This
what does 343 do then?
They just stay in the corner.
They go and left to their devices to fight over what game they're going to make next. I don't know. I think there's talented people at 343, and I would hate
no more content.
Joe Staten would need to go over to 343. I mean to fucking Certain Affinity. Like if you could take Certain Affinity and bring Joe Staten over there, right? Who's the writer and the main campaign guy, right? Like that's a good start for them across the board. Now you bring over some of the muscle, like programmers or and stuff like that too, you know what I mean? But
you could also argue that maybe 343 they can't focus on multiplayer and campaign at the same time. So maybe if you just leave 343 the campaign side and Certain Affinity the multiplayer side,
that's a
Call
good
of Duty
idea.
does, or they have different devs work on different modes or whatever.
The issue with this too, though, is if this is a game that Certain Affinity is making is like a Monster Hunter type clone, that involves a lot of also online shit to make, and then also if you're making the Battle Royale game, who handles the content for that as well? So Certain Affinity could be pretty busy, you know what I mean? Regardless.
Yeah.
Microsoft has been pretty good about growing some of these studios that they've acquired. Although I guess the big thing is, will they step away from the whole private contractor deal and just go to having people hired or brought on full time? I think might be the ultimate answer, at least on the 343 side of things. And with a lot of their studios going forward, it seems like they're not doing the contractor thing. They're basically increasing the number of actual, full-time employees.
Yeah. What was the last guy that came up from Bungie? A former Bungie dev, just got hired.
Paul Burton.
Yes. Yeah.
I've personally heard from 343 employees that go into the whole spiel of how a lot of the studio is contract work and how it's not a good situation for 343 because of it's a brand new engine. So you bring on people to just try and learn this new engine, and then guess what? They're only on contract, and then it's a mixture of things. I don't just blame 343. I kind of blame Microsoft in this case as well for even having well, they're in charge of 343, right? But basically, having it made so the management is so bad to the point where you're just hiring people for a couple months and the game is not fixed. And the people who was super experienced with your engine, they're gone. So then you have to hire new people to figure out this new engine that you just made. So
I just remembered something.
Yeah.
I just remembered my third thing that I'm getting annoyed at lately.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. People's
No, I love
It
this.
keeps popping back up.
People's sharing old shit, like articles that were written like a year ago or 2 years ago, and just taking a clip of it and putting it on the internet, like on Twitter, now like it's fucking new news because people forgot. This happened just also with Halo.
This happened to me a couple days ago.
Right.
Was that yesterday?
This happened with Halo. And the reason I brought it up is because of Halo. Because somebody brought up like something that was, we all talked about all the podcast shows, like everybody on fucking Twitter, everybody talked about this article and this interview or whatever of the information about how much content was cut from like Halo Infinite and all this stuff from the campaign, and you know what the changes that Joe Staten made. And they just took a little screenshot of a little bit of a clip of this interview and put it up like it's new info, and it spread around everywhere. Like, oh my God, you guys see this? Oh my God, 343 sucks. We already fucking said that like 6, 7, or 8 months ago now. The last time this posted, right after Halo Infinite launched, right? When we're all actually enjoying the game, actually. Like we all had these conversations. But it's like people have such a short memory, like of this gaming news, because there's something new to talk about every week, that people are starting to rehash this stuff because there's no actual news to try and draw a conversation and get attention online. And it's working. It's so fucking annoying.
You know, I mean, people do it to stir
the pot.
To stir the pot. But Matt, people will say the same about your $70 game. I was literally just thinking, people will say because you're bringing up the $70 conversation that you're stirring the pot. What do you say?
It's still current.
What do you say to that? It's still current.
I say it's relevant because it's relevant conversation because we just keep getting new publishers entering the $70 fray. Ubisoft last month was their first, or the Skull and Bones is Ubisoft's first $70 game.
Is Skull and Bones really $70?
It's $70 on console. On PC, it's $60.
Wait, wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, yep. And
Wow.
Ubisoft is on board now, 100%. Their games going forward are going to be $70, just in time for their new subscription service to be hitting consoles. Amazing timing that is.
It's kind of like a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You know, join our service because you'll save money, kind of thing.
Yeah. So that's why I brought it up last week, and then today everybody started talking about The Last of Us remake because I think Paris had said something on Twitter, and that brought up the conversation.
Paris.
So I didn't rehash that again today from this, but it was very like because we talked about it on Xbox Ultimate on Friday with Ubisoft is like, you know, like I've been saying this shit consistently. I called it out with 2K, I called it out with EA, with Madden, called it out with Battlefield, called it out with Sony's director's cuts. I called it out with every single time it happens, and I'm fucking going to keep doing it when there's something that smells like shit. I'm just gonna say, hey, that sucks. I don't like it. There's certain games I'll be able to. I'll be happy to pay for. You know what I mean? But like, it just doesn't mean I have to like it across the board as like a new standard. You know what I mean?
I'm also not a fan of the whole gatekeeping of conversation because I feel like it doesn't come from. It comes from a place of again of not seeming too much of something, like too biased, or maybe you don't even care about the situation to begin with. So basically what
or trying to spread misinformation or manipulate the audience, but acting like this is new information, right? Like and that's the thing I was talking about with Twitter, that tweet, you know what I mean? I've seen that a lot lately, like from multiple people, and I'm like, you guys even look at the fucking date on these fucking articles? There was one regarding Keighley about the whole Forza, they moved the date back last year. You know what I mean?
For the awards.
For the awards, and people were thinking he did it this year because of God of War Ragnarok, and like he addressed
also,
that.
That doesn't even fucking matter because he said that anything that comes out after that date will be reviewed for next year's Game Awards. So it's like it doesn't matter if it comes out in December; it's just gonna be in next year's. lineup. So
but like the point is like somebody was trying to spread to make it seem like it was this year on purpose.
Well, the thing was that they were upset because Jedi Fallen Order wasn't even nominated the following year, even though that's the case. That's why people think it's bullshit. They just say that because
it is bullshit. I mean, Halo Infinite's not going to have a chance. You know what I mean? I mean, especially after the year that
Assassin's
it's
Creed
had.
Origins didn't have a chance. I don't know if Odyssey was nominated either.
You kind of screw games over. And first off, genres, it shouldn't matter what genre something is. If it's a racing game and it's amazing, it's fun, it shouldn't have to have a story to be nominated for Game of the Year. That's one thing I never agreed with. The second thing is, if you are doing an award show, oh yeah, true. But like for next year, like the Oscars show, is they wait for the whole year to roll out for the most part. I was just saying what the whole thing was. A racing game can't be nominated for the Game of the Year.
But it did win Game of the Year, not at the Game Awards. Forza Horizon 5 won, I think, IGN's Game of the Year.
No one cares about that.
But if you're releasing, if you're doing an award show, you should wait for the whole year. So actually, the award show should be in January. Yeah. So that way, because a lot of games come out in November, December. That's actually a good timeline for some games. And if you have your award show, let's say it's in the middle of December, and then you have a really good game coming out that time, you're not really giving a lot of the judges time to actually play that game and fully experience it. So it actually doesn't make sense for an award show to be in December, besides the fact that holidays are coming up and I really want that money. Jeff Keighley basically wants that marketing money, the advertising money for the holidays. So you get to do holiday specials. So it's all about money. So it really should be in January.
Well, the publishers are on board with that as well. Because think about it. Like, look at Sekiro when it won. You could put the Game of the Year edition. Same thing when Witcher won. You have the Game of the Year edition that you're selling for the holidays. So a game that may have slowed down in sales, like let's call it like we probably will see it. Elden Ring is more than likely going to be the one that wins, but I'm pretty sure their sales have slowed down since the early part of the year. They reached 10 million faster than they ever expected. I'm pretty sure they've probably slowed down a good bit, but if you put a Game of the Year edition on there,
they outsold Call of Duty. It's the first game in a long time that's outsold Call of Duty.
Yeah, so they'll have a Game of the Year edition, probably sell another 2 to 5 million copies before the end of the year. I mean,
but it's less about the awards at that point. You kind of admit then it's more about the sales, which
Also the Game of the Year thing, like on the boxes, doesn't really matter because like you can just say they won Game of the Year from some shitty website you never heard of and be like Game of the Year edition.
It was a 10 out of 10 by somebody's basement review type of thing. But it's I think a lot of these companies are willing to kind of skirt let the whole year play out deal just so they can get that extra push during like Black Friday or the end of the year for the sale. So unfortunately, much like, and some people will say this about the Oscars as well, it's more about what it brings the publisher or the actual production companies more so than rewarding the actual actors, actresses, or devs themselves and things along those lines, as far as the good work that they've put in, or just an acknowledgement that they had a successful release of a game type of thing. So but there are some awards that I think they do have in January, like the Gamers Choice Award I think is one, and there's like another one like BAFTA or something like that.
I think DICE is in like March, I think, or something like that. Yeah.
So there was a handful of them, but Keighley's, like people joke and just they might as well just call it the Keighley's at this point. It's all about the marketing. It's all about selling things at the end of the year, getting that sticker on the box and or sticker on that landing page at the digital store, and increasing sales.
I appreciate the show for what it is, for sure. Right? Like I don't really care 100% about the awards, but it feels like
the trailers
I care about the trailers. That's why I'm glad the show exists, so that way we have another showcase for gaming, right? And if it takes whatever shitty stuff they do to make the show exist, then I'm okay with that. But there can be a better way with handling the transparency of how the awards go down when they make it about the awards. Right, like themselves make it about the awards. They announce it. They make it a prestigious thing. They have the devs on the stage accepting these things. They get voice actors and stuff up there and all this stuff. And they're trying to become a big legit like award show, which I mean, it's pretty much, it's the biggest award show in gaming, right? And it has been for a long time. So to that extent, because it is so visible, the awards will matter more than others because it's visible to the casual audience who like actually is looking at this. Oh, that means something. That means something. So it gains credibility over time just naturally, but you don't have that credibility 100% until you're fucking transparent about the process. And he says they're transparent about it or whatever, but there's too much fucking iffy shit about how the journalists and stuff actually vote and change the fucking ballots and nominations and stuff. Well, they can change it, he says. What the fuck? Like, how many of them have already turned it in? You know what I mean? Like, there needs to be either a better time, like all the other award shows come out, like what, January, February, right? Because it makes damn sense to be able to include everything for a calendar year, right? But like, I get this is in a different position because it's gaming and you have the holiday season, right? It's all about sales, and that's where it's all about marketing. So they're in a different situation. But there needs to be a harder fucking cutoff point. It needs to be announced way ahead of time. And it needs to be very transparent about the voting process and when they receive the ballots and when they go and get turned in. And anything after that is 100% cut off. No changing things. No like, hey, we sent them out. You know, how many of them already sent them back? You know what I mean? Like, this doesn't fucking work that way. Oh, but they could change them. How many people are going to go and fucking change their fucking votes? You know what I mean? Like, oh, I played Forza. It's fucking amazing. Hold on, let me go and take a vote away I gave for that other game. They're not going to fucking do that shit. You know what I mean? Like, let's just be real. They don't care enough to go and actually change the vote. It's like something they probably even hate doing in the first place. Like, get this stupid ballot that you got to fill out. You know, it's fucking out. It's just, come on. Like, let's be realistic about this stuff. Anyway, all right. So next up of the things that we're not supposed to talk about, guys. Yeah, I get backlash every single time I mention this on Twitter.
Let's hear it.
All right, Sega, Microsoft, you companies out there that are making RTS games, if any developers can figure out ways to bring games like Riftbreaker to fucking console, you can figure out a way to bring your RTS games to console. Okay? I'm sick of this shit. Now, I understand PC may be the best place to play these games, right? Mouse and keyboard, you got PC, all this stuff. However, I want them on console because I prefer to play on console, and nobody can tell me that I don't enjoy playing those kind of games on console, because I do. I always have. I enjoyed playing them on the 360. I played a lot of games like that on 360. I played all the Command & Conquers on 360. I played Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle-earth 2 on the 360. I played Supreme Commander on the 360, and I had a fucking blast, right? I want them to come back in a big way to console. So where is Age of Empires 4? Why has Company of Heroes 3 not been announced for console? What's going on? How come the big ones are skipping and like these little RTSs and stuff are actually making their way?
Not to mention, like, you have like let's say you don't want to add controller support, even though there's certain games that have had pretty good examples of how to do that genre of games on a controller.
I think it's controller support is the argument to be made for RTS on console.
I feel like that's the main argument.
No, you would think that, but like I think for the company wise, I think it's like the RTS genre, it's just not that big, and it's the majority of RTS people do play on PC. So it's like, do they take the time to develop it for console if it's not that big on console?
I have a counter to that, Jasper. Okay, you're never gonna fucking grow an audience if you only fucking release one game in a genre every fucking decade and expect it to do really well. And if it doesn't, you abandon it, right? Like, they tried the 360 generation. There's a few games here and there, and then they just abandoned console after that. And now EA is even worse because they just abandoned Command & Conquer in general, right? Like, they just fucking abandoned RTS.
Mobile game or whatever, don't they?
Yeah, whatever the hell that was, right? They tried a free-to-play Command & Conquer on PC or something. It didn't work out. Then they had the mobile game. Didn't work out. They just
EA abandons like everything.
EA is the worst with abandoning stuff. You know, like, you don't buy the RTS genre pretty much Command & Conquer. They like the biggest
Age of Empires, but
Command & Conquer was like one of the OG huge RTS games, and it was one of the massive franchises out there. They acquire it, they come out with several good games, and they just leave it in the dust, right? Maybe it didn't sell well enough. I'm not sure. You know what I mean? But like, fuck, like there's so many different variety of games coming out all over the place. So many different games coming to console now. You know, console games are going to PC. All this stuff across the board, right? We see lots of PC type experiences, and if you caught the PC gaming show or even the Nacon one the other day, they had a lot of like of those PC type games coming to consoles. Like it's like awesome, like CRPG type stuff. You got top down games that are point and click, mouse games, and all these things. But you have these major publishers making the biggest RTS games, not bringing them to the console, and it's completely possible that they're doing it because they don't see, like you said, Jasper, the value in it and the return on investment. Yeah. My thing is, if you're not bringing the biggest games to there, how are you ever going to grow an audience? That's what the same argument I have, like Square Enix avoiding Xbox with Final Fantasy. You're not going to grow that audience on the ecosystem unless you fucking bring your games to it. Like they're taking the smaller check for exclusivity.
You're gonna add the sequel to Final Fantasy, not the actual.
Yeah, like, I mean, you're gonna get a growing audience over a long period of time that are not going to play Final Fantasy games on Xbox, and they're gonna not care about it anymore, right? And like, so they're diminishing their audience. Actually, like, doesn't make any sense. PC, you may only sell a little bit compared to, I mean, RTS games, you may sell way less than you would on PC, right? But guess what? The next one you release, maybe you got some more attention, more hype, or, you know, people get used to playing RTS games on console. You keep releasing them, and you build an audience. You build something that people actually like. Once people get used to these control schemes, it becomes second nature. Like I had no issue playing RTS games on 360. It's not the best way.
But say that like maybe they're just letting the indie or the smaller RTS games take the risk of console, so that people like learn what RTS is on console, and then a few years later they'll be like, we're finally making games for RTS on console, like the Sega games or whatever. So
yeah, but like, then we don't get those damn big games at launch on console. We have to wait, like we are with Age of Empires 4. If you're coming day and date, Microsoft, with fucking console type games on PC, which you've been doing for years now, you need to do the opposite, and you need to bring the fucking PC games day and date to Xbox.
Well, the funny thing is, the Xbox has, you know, mouse and keyboard, you know, provisions already set for it. So why not just, and I know you and Pong have talked about this before, just have it where there's like a little warning in the store. Hey,
I've been calling
requires mouse and keyboard, you know, connection for this game to work properly
or something, and
go from there. At least try it. I mean,
I'm assuming that's what Sony does with their VR thing. Like they say, hey, you have to have a VR headset if you want to play fucking whatever their PlayStation VR game is, you know?
Yeah.
That's a good thing. Like if you don't want to put that resources into figuring out how the heck do I get this game to work on a controller, make it so it is mouse and keyboard. Like, hey, this game requires, like you said, Jasper, I think that's actually a really smart way to do it, is sort of like a VR headset, like have a little mouse and keyboard icon, like this game requires it, and maybe they can get more interest that way.
We're gonna say if you do that, then you just like you can open up for like other games that maybe they don't want to take the dev time to make a console or a controller layout for the game, but like Escape from Tarkov, you could put that on Xbox and you wouldn't make a controller layout. You could just be like, it's only mouse and keyboard.
You know how many PC gamers would buy a console to put on their desk if a lot of those PC type games were playable with mouse and keyboard on the, like across the board? A lot of those
it's
PC
cheaper to buy a Series X than a $2,000 computer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know what I mean? What were you gonna say, Psycho?
No, I was gonna say that we've been saying putting my keyboard and mouse games on the Xbox for fucking forever. I've been saying that we all been saying that since pretty much
Xbox One had it.
I mean, I've been saying that since like the fucking 360.
That's two things Xbox needs to solve, is that, and then of course their recording is kind of bad.
DVR.
Yeah, the DVR needs to be. Yeah. That's the thing that's funny. It's like PC Game Pass, so PC gets console games, like you said, Mav, but yet it doesn't go the other way around most of the time.
Again,
So it's
console players are like fucking the afterthought so many times, man.
We're they're charged with this, next gen tax where you don't get PC games, but yet, and it's like you you wonder why people go from console to PC, because if you can afford to get a PC, a really good PC that can run these games, then there there's so much out there.
But I have a decent PC and I know how to get my games to work on it. I don't really have a problem with like a lot of people be like, oh, compatibility issues. I can't figure out how to get my game to work on PC. Like I can figure all that stuff out. It's not a problem for me. I just like playing with the controller.
Yeah.
Like it's not good for like if you have friends over. Let's say you have like
it's so much easier to
over.
just hit the power button and then launch game. It's like
yeah, exactly. Like you're not gonna all sit around a desk. Like if you have friends over to play like some multiplayer game, right? You're gonna be on a couch, and you have like usually hooked up to a TV. Not that you can't set up your PC to do that, but even if you do, a lot of PC games aren't even like local multiplayer for the most part. They usually if they do, it's maybe 2 players, like maybe, and it's very rare for a PC game to even do like local things like that. So that's where consoles are actually like a little bit better, is you can have that like a better couch experience. I'm just like in this regard to like having friends and stuff, it's just more accessible, more easy to jump
kick your
into.
Feedback. You don't have to fucking sit up at your monitor
like we're doing right now. We're all on like PCs right now. We're just talking, right? But like when you're playing on a console, most likely the way it's set up, it's like underneath your TV desk or something like that, and you're just sitting down, and it's a lot more relaxing in that regard, at least for me.
Well, not only that, I mean, my Series X was $500. About less than a year before that, I had bought a PC for like $1,300, and my Series X is way more capable than that PC is, right?
Yeah, but you could spend $500 upgrade your graphics card.
Great. And then I also got to get a new power supply, probably because the PC I bought doesn't have a power supply good enough to run that shit. But then if I get a new power supply, is it compatible with this? Fuck that shit. I hate PCs. And not only that, when it finally, like, you can run the game, then all of a sudden it doesn't launch. You got an issue. You got to fucking uninstall.
You got to update your graphics
whatever.
card,
I mean, I just...
Driver is not compatible.
I've never had a fucking driver problem. Everyone always says, "Oh, it's your damn
Really?
drivers."
Oh my
Dude,
God.
I had it yesterday.
Driver issues with Mike.
I tried to play a game yesterday. I had it. I was like, really?
And if I mess with, I'm always afraid to like update my drivers too, because when you update a driver, then you like restart your PC, then sometimes you fucking doesn't restart, and then it's like you get a blue screen, and it's like, oh, you should have fucking like done a save state or what the fuck you, man. I don't want to have to think about all this shit. Okay, just like run, just work, please, just like work and never have an issue. And when I try and play a game, just fucking launch, right?
Well, see, that's your problem. You don't respect it. You call it these fucking dumb PCs or whatever. You got to respect it.
It's a son of a bitch.
No, I just use the PC for modded games. That's what I do.
Normally
It's
do.
like
It's just for modding games now.
Oh, true, Slomo, but like it's not to the extent of to PCs. I don't think it's not that consoles don't have their issues. It's more rare, and like the issues you have on a console, like it's kind of universal. Like for the most part, like if you get an error code on a PC, it's specific to your hard drive, to your specs, and you have to research on forums how to fix it. If it's happening on a console, most likely it's the dev's fault,
or some piece of software that you installed that had some fucking like bug in it, or like some like anything, man, like anything. Anytime I get a new piece of hardware and I have to plug it in, I'm like, is this gonna fucking break my PC? You know what I mean? Like,
this is rare. Not to say that consoles don't have their issues.
And then some shit just doesn't work. Like my fucking last audio interface didn't work with Xbox Game Bar. I don't know why.
That's a Game Bar issue.
Yeah, it is, but I fucking like you know, like it sucks. You know, like
you also have the most complicated fucking audio setup for Game Bar, so it's like you're the one person.
I had to do a workaround because the fucking system didn't work with it. Like I couldn't just choose my interface as my source. Like I couldn't choose my usual thing as my source. I had to run a digital application just to acquire to run my source through, then use that as a source just for Game Bar. And like I don't have to do that anymore because I replaced that piece of hardware, but it was unique to me for some whatever reason. I could not find the solution anywhere. Other than I found other people that had a few people that had the same problem for that specific piece of hardware. Now there was never a solution though. So guess what? Replace the hardware. Exactly. You know, it's like PCs like are all.
Sometimes I find solutions like years later. I was like,
yeah,
let me try this, and then it worked. I'm like, really?
I can't put Windows 11 on my PC. My PC is like 2 years old. I can't put Windows 11 on it.
I get that error message too, but it might depend on the motherboard itself.
Yeah.
Like my motherboard is supposed to be compatible, but it's saying it's not, and I'm not doing the steps to upgrade it.
Yeah.
Probably got to go in the.
I figure I'll let everybody else be the guinea pig for Windows 11.
I all the instructions
in the BIOS?
Yeah, I did. I was like watching like step by step like instructions. I did everything. I did everything it said. I got it to like a certain point, and then then I was like got to a certain point, and it's like, oh, if you still having this issue, it means you need to like repartition your hard drive. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. Because that means I lose everything on the hard drive, which is my fucking whole operating system, which means I got to go get another hard drive or something large enough to put everything onto. Like, it's no. I'm just sick of this shit.
Like hard drive takes 2 seconds to plug in a computer.
Yeah, but then I got to like transfer everything. I'm afraid it won't work. Right? I'm afraid I'm going to lose everything.
I've definitely done like fixes like that where I erase everything, I partition, I do all that, and then I start it up again. It still doesn't work. I'm like, I just wasted like
2 days of your life.
You missed a step.
Sometimes weeks trying to fix this thing, and it didn't even work. So it's not really a guarantee. But I also understand like what Slim was saying. Like some people prefer to fix it. I don't.
I used to give my PC problems on purpose just so I could fix it.
Jasper.
Let's see how this works.
Sometimes,
tinker.
The thing is, I don't know how to fix it. Anytime there's a problem, I gotta watch some random ass YouTuber or like some Google video or read some forum specific that for my Google search where I actually like wonder if the weird ass thing I'm trying to type there'll be a result for it. You know what I mean? And you know what? Surprisingly, every time there is. And I end up trying to troubleshoot that way. I don't know how to fix stuff other than step-by-step stuff, right? But RTS games on consoles
are scary because they're expensive and no one wants to break them or mess with it. It's like...
Yeah.
Yeah. Dang.
But yeah, that's why I don't want to play on PC though as much. I mean, I enjoy PC like some like times for gaming. But like console's such a streamlined experience for me. Yeah. Like you just turn it on.
Like, main profile, everything that played before is there. You know,
your party chats right there. I mean, just everything is just right there. 100%. You know, like it's just made for gaming, right? And only for gaming for the most part. I mean, you have your apps and stuff like video apps and stuff like that. But like, I prefer that. And the games that I have to play on PC now, I stopped playing because I'm playing on PC. Yeah. Right? And if I was playing them on a console, I'd play a lot more of those games. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what it's about. Like Age of Empires 4, I played a few hours. You know what I mean? I would have put a lot more time in if I was playing that on console. But the RTS games I played the most, I played on my 360. Now I played Command & Conquer back in the day on PC. Originally, like the original one and Red Alert and all those things, you know, because that's just all it came out on. That's where I fell in love with RTS games. But I was excited as hell when they started coming to 360. And I actually preferred playing them that way. I know it sounds crazy, but I had a shit PC back then. So I could actually play them on the 360. I couldn't play them with PC. And I was able to play with my friends and my Xbox party, and we like would do skirmishes against each other and stuff, and like, you know what I mean, like, and it was level playing field because we both had controllers, so it didn't really matter. You know, there was co-op, you could go against the computer and stuff. Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle-earth 2 and Supreme Commander, all those RTS games, and like they started skipping console after that generation or later in that generation, and they haven't come back, the big ones.
Well, also, I think the RTS genre kind of died off in that generation too. Like,
it did.
A lot of RTS games stopped being made.
They started coming back though. Like Company Heroes is back. Age of Empires just came back. There's new Total War games that have come out, and Command & Conquer Remastered came out.
I would say like the last few years is like the biggest RTS genre's been in probably like 15 years.
And that's why I'm begging them to start bringing it to console so it has a chance to thrive. You know, like I get like Halo Wars is like the console attempt and stuff, and even that wasn't as successful as they wanted it to be, but I fucking love that game still. You know what I mean? Like
people use the power narrative too. Like you just need a $3,000 computer. I have one, and I still prefer like a console just because it's a lot more of a streamlined experience. Like I have the 3090, I have super good RAM, it's like 64 gigabytes of RAM and all that, and I still prefer playing on a console just because
it's just relaxing.
It's just relaxing. Yeah.
Simplistic.
But I also get like people who prefer that. Some people have amazing setups on their PC, right? They have like maybe super comfy gaming chair. They have the lights and stuff, and they have, you know, looking at Jasper. And for some people they prefer PC, and that's fine. I just like the streamlined ness of a console, especially like if I want to show people a game, like I go to my girlfriend's house or my friend's house, I bring my Xbox, I put it in my bag and ship it. I can't put my desktop. There's no way. I would have to unhook so many wires. My mic is hooked up to it. All these, you know, it's just streamlined in that regard too. If you are trying to bring it to places as well, as opposed.
But I mean, that's used to be the thing. LAN parties back in the day, like.
Yeah, I miss those Halo LAN parties.
You know, the other benefit of those games coming to consoles, you get the potential of the future, like with maybe your library going into like the cloud. You know what I mean? Like PC Game Pass hopefully coming to console at some point. That would be amazing. But I think that's still ways off. But what if your library was in the cloud also? You know, of all the games you bought, you know? So like you could potentially have a wireless mouse and keyboard on your Samsung TV or whatever, and so stuff like that. It'd just be like, there's lots of possibilities. I just want to see that happen, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And people that say, well, it doesn't make sense. I don't want them to spend time bringing it to console because it's best played on PC. Fuck you. I want it on console. I don't care.
And
I want what I want.
Look at the minimum specs for PCs and the most bought graphics card, it is not better than a Series X. So like for all the people who are claiming I have this amazing PC, maybe you do, but according to like the general market, the casual market,
the Steam charts, it shows that like the most graphics card is like a 1080. Like
it's like a 1080, which I'm gonna break it to you, is not better than a Series X.
Okay? Has no RTX features, ray tracing features.
No RTX features. It's a decent graphics card, and is why a lot of developers like building for that spec because a lot of people have it. Right?
Yeah.
But with the Series X and the PS5, even these are powerful consoles. These are powerful consoles, and like if you want to even get to having a Series X performance, it's not going to cost you $500. It barely might. It's definitely. It might not even cost you $1,000. It might be even way more than like maybe even $2,000.
Graphics cards prices are coming down, but like still like
to even get similar.
If everything was MSRP, I think you were looking at probably $800. If everything's just what it's supposed to be priced.
Exactly. Like, so you're getting a bargain. You're actually getting a bargain on these consoles. And it's a really good price. So I know everyone hears the whole pricing thing until PCs come down to the same price as Series X, and I will always say Series X is almost it's a good value. It's an amazing value. I won't say better because there are things the PC does that that are amazing, and you can never do that. But I will say it's an amazing value for gaming, and it's one of the best values you will get for gaming, for sure. So,
absolutely, well said, 3-Bit.
Thank you.
Great job. All right, so I mean, that's the ones I had picked out. I mean, there's a lot of shit that people don't want us to talk about. I mean, there's a lot of things that happen on social media and stuff like, hey, why are you still talking about this? You know what I mean? Like, or why you bring this up? Or why, like it, but I think we got through some of the biggest ones today. We got
speculating is another one.
Speculating.
Yeah.
Yeah, people just don't like
speculate, man.
Speculation in general. You know what? You know what's fucking funny as hell is every podcast out there is constantly speculating all the time. You know what I mean? And that's one of the reasons I came up with the name, because that's what we all do is speculate, right? Now, we all speculate about like what game is that going to be, what's Starfield going to be like, or like what's this game going to be like, or why did this game suck, what's going on at 343, right? Like what score is this game going to get, like how much is this game going to be, when's this game going to, is this game going to come to PC, or like is this game like that's all we fucking don't know. we don't know the answers to all these questions unless you actually worked on a game, have firsthand knowledge of stuff, or like you were part of the conversation, or like you had to know somebody or whatever. Like, we don't know, right? And a lot of the speculation is like rumors, or like, you know, like looking to the future about one thing we get flack for is like when we talk about the cloud and the future of gaming and stuff, you know, how like consoles are going to become less important over time. Right? People don't like that when you say that.
People have been talking about that for fucking 20 years too. Also, it's like,
yeah,
eventually everyone's been like, eventually your console will just be a PC or whatever. And now it's kind of becoming, eventually your console will just be a cloud.
I mean, when the cloud was first announced, right? Like people were like, what the fuck is that? And when like it was originally just cloud saves, like with memory, like for storage and stuff like that.
Text documents and shit.
Yeah. And now we're like running like AI and like graphics through them, and we're, you know, they're using it to build games, and
eventually they'll be able to just like use an AI to create a game in the cloud. Like you just type in something, kind of like that stupid Dolly.
Yeah, the machine learning thing. That's what that's all about, right? And we're talking more. We talk
that me and Psycho went over that.
Yeah, for sure.
I forgot what episode that was.
We have like 10, if you look at where the cloud's gone over the last 10 years, right? And you think about where it's going to go in the next 10 years. And it's just like, hey, nobody's saying that hardware isn't going to be important. It's just that it becomes less important to the casuals or to somebody that doesn't necessarily need a console. Like with a Samsung TV is the bit, and the excitement that I've seen over that from people that have tried it is like the biggest example of that I can see right now. But that's just the first, right? Imagine like 10 years from now, every fucking thing's going to have that. You know what I mean? And it's going to be way better than it is now. And the limitations of having to even have to own hardware is going to be gone. The option is not going to be gone. You're still going to be able to get a great dedicated experience if you choose that's what you want, because you're like an enthusiast.
And that's not going away.
Yeah, you're a hardcore fan. You want that hardcore experience. That's going to be there. But for the mainstream, like casual masses, the barrier of having to buy a $500 box is going to be gone. And it actually already is today. And that's insane. And that's all just because of where the cloud's gone over the last 10 years, right? So think 10 years in the future, what it's going to be like. And we just can't even fucking fathom. Because we could not guess that today, 10 years ago, we couldn't guess that today I'd be able to go play fucking whatever game in Game Pass. What is this Game Pass thing? We don't fucking even know what the Game Pass was a dream back then. Nobody heard of a gaming subscription service like Game Pass, and be able to play those games on a phone, on your TV or tablet or whatever, wirelessly, anywhere you are. Like, nobody thought that was going to be a thing, you know? But it is.
It's absolutely endless.
Games on the moon.
It's absolutely endless of the possibilities, and I went into it before, but what developers can do with the cloud is people aren't even thinking about the potential. Right now, like the basis of the cloud and what we're seeing it now will just be like, hey, you don't need a console to play most of these games, but kind of what Jasper was hinting on, you can use it to have infuse it with machine learning and have it so you can store data for games on the cloud. So let's say the AI is learning behavior from thousands of different players.
Yeah.
Puts it onto the cloud, and they can use that to justify the AI learning how you should walk around different places, or the difficulty of a game can pretty much substantiate, and there is no difficulty because it's learning other people's behavior. It can go insane if they really wanted it to, and they're already starting to do stuff like that. And I'm ecstatic about it for game development, but I'm also ecstatic as just like a person who wants a lot of people to get into game development, and also a lot of people who want to get into gaming in general. Like, it's becoming more accessible to people than ever before. The fact that I can buy a Samsung TV, or for people who already have Samsung TV, they could just turn on an app and play some Xbox games is amazing. This is absolutely cool. That it's becoming that accessible that I can tell people just like, oh yeah, just download the app if you want to play Halo. You know, the fact that I'm going to be able to say that, and you don't need a box sort of constricting you is cool. I'm always going to love the physical media of not a CD. I'm kind of done with CDs, but like the physical media of the hardware of a console. I'm always going to want that, just because I love that 4K 60
performance, the quickest, no latency, all that stuff.
Exactly. But if some people, they don't care. They have a 1080p TV.
Yeah.
You know, they don't really care. And for those people, that's awesome.
So I was going to talk, look, we don't have time, but we'll talk maybe this stuff next week. Redfall or Xbox Ultimate. We'll say Redfall right for Xbox Ultimate. We have Battlefield single player campaign is coming. God of War Ragnarok finally got a release date, and it's $70, and it's going to be there on in November. But yeah, God of War, people are excited about that. But I wanted, this was the episode of things that we're not supposed to talk about. So, but we're also gonna have a quick tidbits, guys. We haven't done this. We haven't had this show in a couple weeks because there's my daughter's birthday. Then there was 4th of July. So let's do some tidbits. Fuzzy, do you want to go through the games that we have coming, and I'll try and get some trailers up? I saw you put them in there. This is a shit week, guys. I'm just preparing you.
It's in the fan fun spec.
Okay, here we go. Wait, why is it jumping around here? Hold on one sec.
And the first one's Garden Story.
Yeah.
July 11th.
I see it.
12th.
Yeah, Garden Story.
Or 12th.
Yeah, it's one of those. It looks more cartoony than like a Bug Snacks kind of thing, but I'm thinking it's kind of along those lines. Let's see, the Garden Story. It's coming to Xbox Game Pass. I know that. And sorry, one sec. Yeah, it's showing that it's coming to the Series X and Xbox One, Series X, Series S, Xbox One, July 12th, or basically tomorrow. And I guess they've already had it on Switch and on PC. But it's going to be like in Game Pass this go around.
Okay.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, it's a cute pixel adventure and must play. But why though? A very relaxing
like Stardew
game.
Valley or something, you probably like this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lady AF is all about this right now.
You think
This
so?
looks awesome.
Yeah.
No,
I'd
I
play
think she said it already.
Right. It does
Twitter.
look pretty good, actually. I'm not gonna lie. Is this in Game Pass
It's coming to Game Pass. I don't know if
Yeah, it's coming to Game Pass. Yeah.
at launch?
Yeah.
Right on.
Some more of those E-rated games that Phil Spencer
So
wants.
That's tomorrow. Yeah, I see. It says right there, Game Pass, Garden Story. I'm actually gonna try this, guys. It looks relaxing as hell, and I think I need that right now. I've been fucking pissed off the last couple of days. It's like a zen game. It's a very zen game. What's next
Garden
up?
Story.
Time on Frog Island.
Time on Frog Island. That sounds like another one of these types of games. Was this all part of like there was one of the gaming showcases at non-E3 when it was like all the games had frogs in them? Y'all remember that?
Yeah. I don't think this was there though.
This wasn't one of the frog games?
You sure that wasn't a dream?
No, that was real. Like every freaking game had a frog in it. Yeah, I don't remember which one it was. It was like I think it was the Guerrilla Collective.
Yeah.
Is this Garden Story again? Is this like a Animal Crossing type game or something?
Yeah, I'm not sure as far as the actual gameplay itself, but it does have more of like an Animal Crossing type vibe going.
Looks like Zelda. The way he was holding the rock above his head and running though, that was kind of Zelda like. I don't know what's going on.
I'm
I
digging
think
it.
that may have been an egg, or was that?
I played.
Yeah.
Why is the frog barking?
The frog was barking?
The frog is barking.
It's a barking frog.
A barking frog, yeah. Like a barking spider.
Is he building a pirate ship? Oh, this is like Sea of Thieves too.
Fuck Skull and Bones. We got a frog story or whatever.
Time on Frog Island.
Time on Frog Island. $70 coming next week. And it's
wait,
okay
what?
because value is subjective.
It's $23.99 on Xbox.
Okay.
It's $70 on PlayStation.
Oh. It's okay. It's the value subjective. That game can be.
Oh, hey,
Hey, what's up, Trinity? Shout out. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Trinity.
Autoplay was. What's up, Trinity?
Trinity. Help.
What's this next one here?
All right, next one we got is Loopmancer.
Did we just like raid Trinity without her getting any credit for it? Make sure you guys check out Trinity's stream after the show.
Yes.
Is this Sifu? No, it's not.
No, it's
What'd you call me?
kind of like Cyberpunk slash the night after or something along those lines. And although it does have kind of
This is
aesthetic in
Loopmancer,
some
right?
areas, but yeah.
So it's Cyberpunk meets Sifu meets
Cyberpunk. That's all I need to know.
meets
about
Shadow Complex.
Yeah.
I love Cyberpunk.
Is it a Metroidvania or?
An old like?
It's like a hack and slash.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just hack and slash.
Another one on the list that we don't have
Loopmancer.
to show that's coming out is Power Washing Simulator on the Xbox. Comes out on the 14th, Game Pass.
Ooh,
Oh,
Power
yeah.
Washing Simulator, but that
I'm gonna play that.
I was coming to Game Pass, right? You said on the
Yeah.
14th. Next
Yeah.
up
It's on the list.
is Escape Academy, guys.
This is like an escape room, but it's a video game. So if you like escape rooms, you may like this game.
I've never done an escape room. I've wanted to.
What?
Yeah. Does that make me weird that I've never done an escape room?
I've never done one. Either.
Yeah.
Nah, it's fun.
I mean, Kate's
No,
locked
it-
me in the house and
Freak.
rooms at times. I've had to figure out how to get out. She was mad at
No,
me.
I just remember when they were like all rage and everybody at work was like, "Yeah, you gotta do an escape room," and it's like, why? And then I did one, and the group didn't want to listen to me, and they didn't find the clue in the fireplace, so it's
Yeah,
like,
fuck groups.
yeah.
Yeah, I've been in a couple escape rooms. They're fun. I've been in a one where you're supposed to be like bank robbers, and you're trying to
Yeah.
escape the bank.
I would
Yeah.
completely do it with the right group of friends. I just don't have any friends. So I'm down for digital.
What?
I'm down for digitals. I have you guys, but like, I can't do escape room with y'all, but maybe at this I can. You know?
We could do a virtual escape room.
Can
That's
we?
what this game
That's
is.
what I'm saying. We can do this.
No, just put us on your cell phone.
What?
What? This is
couple
coming
cell
to
phones,
Game
so-
Pass. Right on. I'm gonna I'll
Put
get
us
to
on
do-
like a moving cart, and then
Yeah.
Oh, like
Make it
that.
so we
Oh,
can-
like take you with
Yeah.
me. I could just do
Yeah,
We
but
could
then
just do
you're
a Zoom
still gonna be
meeting.
missing stuff. Like some of that stuff you need to be like physical with to like.
can
actually
I
get
like
out of it.
make it so I
we
can
gotta be
control the
physical with
cart?
each other. Like
So
I
I'm like
don't
a floating head.
Let's
I'm a
get
floating head.
physical.
Need like a robot
Later,
arm with
Pong.
like a laser pointer on it or
Yeah.
something.
Code it so I can like use a
We'll have to
robot
get Mav
arm.
to play that game later, Pong.
Yeah. Is there any bondage?
There's
What?
none.
Oh,
Where the fuck did that come?
I thought I was like a prisoner. It's gonna be a big fantasy thing.
Yeah, you're tied to a wall, and we got to figure out how to get you off.
Whoa, get me off the wall. What? Get me off the wall. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shout
First
out to the
I thought you were
chat,
going with
guys.
Saw, and then you took a
Y'all been
left.
amazing.
And yeah. off
What
the rails.
what is this game?
Hey, Pong.
My Pong.
Eyes in the dark.
Yeah. This one is just coming to PC. It looks interesting. I'm not sure why it wasn't on or coming to console and it's just coming to I guess PC for this one.
It's the indie game, so
Yeah.
Save your family. Oh, tentacles, psycho. Yes. Eyes in the dark. The curious case of one Victoria Bloom. All right. I see Gearbox Publishing. So it's published by Gearbox, indie game published by them. It's interesting.
I'm gonna get Insane
Yeah.
Cakes on his show. He's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Eyes in the dark. That looks cool. Is it only on PC?
Yeah. For now.
Oh, see, you lost me. See, I could have been an interested customer.
All right,
It
what's
will be a
this?
Steam Deck game for me.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
that looks
that's
cool. It
pretty
looks like a
fun.
nice little indie experience. This is Rune Factory 5, everybody.
I must have missed the first 4.
Is it? This is on the Switch?
Yeah.
You missed the
It's already
4
on the
and
Switch, but it's
prequels,
finally
Jasper.
coming to PC.
Okay, it's finally coming to PC.
Yeah, it's not at 370p.
Is it also like 5 FPS or is that?
I think that's just because we're watching through. Restream.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, that's how what you guys are seeing.
The other ones was super smooth. I don't know why this one is.
And this doesn't look
Is it
bad.
'cause it's on the
actually. This
Switch?
looks pretty good. Yeah, no,
it's 'cause
I
it's on
don't.
the
I don't know why. Sometimes Restream does that.
Yeah, the live stream on YouTube looks smooth. The restream
Yeah.
is kind of like.
Oh. But the other games were super smooth. As soon as the Switch game popped up, it started lagging.
It's the curse of the Switch.
That's a curse.
This looks great, honestly. I mean, it looks great in a bad way.
Well,
The
see,
style is interesting.
well, this
I
is
like-
one
I
of
like the
those
style.
Nintendo games that you could play
Yeah.
on your Steam Deck
Well, I mean, it's
without having
Yeah.
you
to do
can buy it.
emulation.
Yeah, without having to do
Is
it.
it on PC too? or
I need
just-
you to train me how to
It's
get that
coming out on
working,
PC.
Fuzzy.
It's already out of Twitch through it. It's coming out of PC. This game.
Oh, okay.
So when is this released on PC?
On the
the
15th. So I think that's what Friday.
Yep.
I think.
It's not $70, right?
No. I think this on PC it's probably going to be like 40 or
Right.
I don't think it's a full 60.
Was it 60 on Switch?
You can get the $130 version on Switch.
Oh my god.
The $130 version on this.
It's like a collector's edition.
Right on. Value subjective.
It's 60. The base game looks like it's 50 on Switch.
50 on the Switch. All right. And how much on PC?
That's what I'm trying to find. On
So-
Steam, it's gonna be 60 on Steam, but right now it's on sale 15% off.
All right, guys. I know we're gonna get a kick-ass song right here, right now, so I'm gonna turn it up a little bit because this game I'm actually like grabbed my attention at the limited run game show, at non-E3. This is Spider-Saurs. Let's go.
This comes out on everything, so I just put everything.
The not-so-distant future. Solar flares and overcrowding have destroyed the world's food supply. From her secret lab at Ingest Corp, bioengineering billionaire Ericosaurus creates an incredible breed of 8-legged creatures with all the meat and muscle humanity needs to survive. But will we survive the spider soul?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
I told you. What
I
did
love
say?
I freaking love it.
Spider Source. Let's go.
Yeah. I'm
Stranger
down.
Things? Was this Stranger Things?
Like,
What?
Psycho's in the upside down right now. That was Spider Source. Guys, tell me if that is not freaking fire.
I loved it.
Hey, a baseball rocket launcher and a electrifying guitar.
It's like a brawler where you're fighting
like Contra.
spider swords
Yeah.
with awesome music from the 80s.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, originality. Let's go.
I
Love
hope
it.
they have some of that soundtrack in the game too. It's like
Let's,
like
it's
playing while you're
running.
it's got to be.
Yeah. yeah, they better.
I mean, if the game is anywhere near as good as the song, it's going to be a freaking masterpiece.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
That's
Like,
not a
yeah.
joke.
No, this will be a good alternative. Like after Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I hope more studios make games that are kind of like what you would expect to see in the arcade from like the 80s and 90s.
That's a
and
$20
stuff.
game, July 14th on everything, by the way.
I'm going to play it again. I'm sorry. Let's go. It deserves a second run.
Earth.
Let's go,
the not so distant
Spinosaurus!
future. Solar flares and overcrowding have destroyed the world's food supply.
It's
From
like
our secret
amazing
lab at
80s
You think this is like the intro
to a cartoon.
for the game?
Ericosaurus creates an incredible breed
Probably.
of
Intro
eight-legged
to the
creatures
game?
with all the
Yeah.
meat and muscle humanity needs to survive. But will we survive the
Spider Swords. It's like Contra.
But dinosaurs.
It's like a intro song you'd see in like some old ass like cartoon, like Captain Planet or something.
Yeah. Let's go. I would have watched the fucking cartoon. That's for sure. You know, come on. This could be a whole thing. This could be like Netflix pick up the fucking TV show or the series rights. Let's go. Why not?
I like it.
Oh, okay. All right. Next up,
Oh, there's more.
we got
Yeah,
one more
there's-
game. Sorry, I had
It's
to
a
play that.
mouthful.
I had to play that one twice. This one is called
DC League of Super Pets: The Adventures of Crypto and Ace.
What?
DC League of Super Pets: The Adventures of Crypto and Ace.
Oh.
Super
What's
Dog.
the date? What's the date on this one?
The 15th of July.
Crypto.
All right.
So it's way more well made than I thought it would.
Does it?
It's
I mean,
$40.
They removed Superman and put crypto in there, and this
Is
is
this a mobile?
Superman 64.
No, this is an Xbox, PlayStation.
DC
I
League
don't
of Super Pets:
know
The
about Switch.
Adventures of
What the heck, is
Crypto
it
and
exclusive
Ace.
to Xbox?
No, it's on
What the heck?
PlayStation. It's just the Xbox trailer.
Oh, okay.
I prefer Spider Swords.
Yeah. Is that coming to Game Pass? Is that or Spider Swords coming to Game Pass? Is the question.
I don't
They've
think so.
announced.
I don't think so.
Oh.
But that's the games releasing this week. Now, there's no like big games, right? but there's an interesting variety here of actual games that I am now interested in playing. Some that I've forgotten about that I've seen before. So not a bad week actually. As like I didn't watch these trailers before we started the show. You know, I've seen some of them in the past. You know, again, like completely forgot about them. I'm not a bad week actually.
It's a good indie week.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of those games I'm looking forward to, and some of them are dropped into Game Pass. So
yeah,
I think there's 3 of them: Garden Story, Power Washer, and the Escape Room.
Yeah, I don't have a trailer for Power Wash Simulator, cool. But that's in Game Pass. But that already came out on PC, right? So is
it's been on PC a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's multiplayer,
a lot of those
right?
simulation games are coming over.
Power Wash Simulator, like
I thought I saw
spray
like
each other.
People. I thought I saw multiple like people in like the power washing suit, and they were like spraying a building or something. But maybe I'm wrong.
That's probably a PC mod.
There's a firefighter game that was kind of popular a little bit when this came out.
Yeah, Ember. Yeah,
that was fun.
Yeah, online co-op play up to 6 players.
Up to 6 power washers.
Yeah, Power Wash Simulator
on Xbox. It's got co-op. Can we have a fucking stream like on Friday night or something?
Brings online co-op play for 6 players.
Oh,
so
wow.
I'm gonna bring the power.
You're gonna bring the power. Do you like?
It says to the PC games. I wonder.
Do you get points for breaking windows or no?
No, it's what you do is it's like kind of like House Flipper, but you just go like you get a job and it's like, hey, wash this skate park, whatever. You just go wash the skate park, get paid $100, and you try to upgrade your nozzles to get better power washer gear and stuff.
Yeah, and I
so it's got loot and leveling. Yes.
What's your standout 3-bit?
My standout game.
I mean, it's pretty easy.
I mean, it has to be the one we were just singing, which I forgot the name.
Spider Swords. Is it because of the game
Spider
or the song?
Swords. The song. The game looked okay. You know, I have to play it. Yeah. But I'm wondering if like it's one of those games that's like really fun to play. Like well, yeah, I don't know. But the song for sure. But if I had to pick another one besides Spider Swords, probably the first game.
Garden Story.
Garden Story.
Yeah, that looked really.
Actually,
chill.
I take it back. Escape Room. That actually looks really fun. I forgot about that.
Okay.
Escape Room.
Which is that's in Game Pass too, right? So
yeah.
I'm gonna try that. But that's multiplayer. Is that co-op?
What, Escape Room?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they said online and local multiplayer in that trailer.
Okay.
Sweet.
Can we guys can we play it? Because I do my first escape room with my friends.
Yes.
Kate would love that too, actually.
Trying to solve different rooms, I could already imagine like the shenanigans.
Yeah. But that's gonna do it, guys. The chat, you guys have rocked this whole show. You've been like very engaged, been awesome. So shout out to Talos Ray, Marlesco, Vic the Click, RWK88, Oni. Let's see, Alvin, what's up, man? 702 Gaming, what's up? You got Slow Mo's been hanging out. Insane Cakes. 3-bit said we got to have you on the show, so we'll make sure we do that for one of our shows coming up. But Rel, Tony Grasso been here as well. Let's see, Pong Soul was in here. There was Pong said something that I wanted to talk about earlier. I wanted to read it, but I fucking lost it. Yeah, we got sidetracked, and he was like saying something about people just read the freaking articles and stop looking for it.
Fucking had a bit like
it was like just people read the freaking articles and stop getting just ready to be upset about everything. You know what I mean? Like when people share stuff like a lot lately, it's like they're not including links and they're not actually like they will have a link, but they'll take a screenshot of like a different part of it, or they'll just take a little excerpt, little piece of the interview, and that people just like run with like the little thing that they see, right? This is what he said. He said, read the fucking articles. Stop looking to be outraged at any little fucking thing. He was very angry and adamant when he said that. So I wanted to put it on the screen. Yeah, just like, man, it's like people are ready to be outraged and retweet and quote tweet and comment on all these little like things on Twitter and stuff. And it's like without any context, you know what I mean? Taking everything at face value, you know? So like, hey, you know, read this stuff, see what it's all about. You know, it's stop reading people that are putting old shit out there to rehash stuff, you know, or like.
Well, I'm kind of glad that Twitter added that thing. I mean, it doesn't do much, but Twitter added the thing where it's like, you're retweeting an article and you haven't read it yet. Do you want to read it before you retweet it?
That's a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. That was the thing.
Yeah, it's a feature on some articles. I think they're mostly like news based, but like I think they also do it for some gaming articles.
Well,
pretty cool.
Let's get you guys out of here. Chat again. Appreciate everybody here for all of hanging on any of our shows that we do live after the fact. Wherever you watch and whenever you watch, just appreciate stopping by. Jasper, where can everybody find you, sir?
You can check me out at Lore Jasper on Twitter, Lore Master Jasper on YouTube. I just kind of do random stuff over there, so check that out. And FSP is Monday nights at 10 o'clock, and Xbox Ultimate is Friday at 9 o'clock Eastern. That's where I'm at. That's what I do. So check that out.
Right on, man. And what about you, Mr. Fuzzy Belvedere?
Just thank you for having me on. Thank you for everyone that came out to watch us live and those that'll catch us later. For anybody that wants to hear my ramblings on anything gaming related, just follow me on Twitter at @fuzzy_Belvedere, and you'll see everywhere else that I will appear throughout the week. Man, it was awesome being here with you guys.
You too, man. Thanks for everything you do with tidbits and stuff, sending all those links, and Jasper filling in the gaps.
I got to bring in the nice
Game Informer. Just like, you know, doesn't have, you know, we rely on the Game Informer a lot for tidbits, but they miss some things. They do. 3-bit. Thank you for being here on FSP. We've been pretty consistent lately. I'm impressed.
I've been trying.
We're really happy.
It's been consistent, but the show hasn't.
Yeah, the show has not. It is easy for 3-bit to be here when we have a show once a month, probably. So, appreciate you being here, bro. Where can everybody find you, man?
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. The show has been.
It's 3-bit's real accent, everybody. He just
this is how I actually talk. So I would appreciate if you don't laugh. Okay, Psycho. This is how I actually talk. But anyways, y'all can follow me at i3bit, not 3-bit. Someone stole that. I'm mad about it. It's okay. At i3bit, you guys can follow me. I'm working on some Aflac commercials. I'm working on that game. I think it rhymes with table. One of those. Working on that.
The
game.
one that starts with an AF.
The funny thing is, I can just talk like normal.
Yeah.
I can also talk normal, but no.
Just because I got that natural country bullshit.
Oh yeah, you can talk like that.
He's from Kentucky.
Oh yeah. No, I appreciate being on the show and getting to talk with everybody. Everybody in the chat was amazing, and us getting to talk about things we're not allowed to talk about. It was a release show because goodness, it's so frustrating sometimes.
Yeah, we've been edging for a while now.
We're not able to talk about it.
Yeah.
So I appreciate everybody coming by, and I'll see you guys on the next show.
Right on, man. Thank you, 3-bit.
Of course.
The amazing Psychonauts, the mellow fellow from outer space. Where can everybody find you, sir?
I just want to say thanks everyone in chat that came out tonight. Greatly appreciated. You guys are awesome, phenomenal. You guys can find me everywhere on social media, Psychonauts8, and goddamn, I did it again. Fun Pop is no longer on Wednesdays.
Oh, yeah,
Fun Pop no longer exists.
It's on no days.
God damn it! It's on no days.
Tear in the rain.
But you can find me
Yeah.
Fridays on Xbox Ultimate.
And I just saw a damn Marvel movie,
9 o'clock.
man.
I know. I want to see it. Is it good? Or
Oh,
is
Thor.
Thor.
We
Or
can
is it
have a little
halfway?
10-minute like Thor session if you guys have time.
I haven't seen it yet, so
I'm seeing it this week.
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. I'm gonna
you
say
like it?
so here's the thing. I thought like the first 30 minutes was like dumb as hell. Like it was trying to be too funny like right away. You know what I mean? And it is like it was like okay, like whatever, you know. And as the story got on, like towards the middle and especially in the end, like it got better and like the comedy was like hitting a lot better for me, right? Because it's definitely like a comedy. But for me, like Christian Bale stole the show. And he was like amazing in it for his parts, and his parts was not a comedy, right? His parts were like dark and like this movie at times was like cinematic masterpiece level with like some of the scenes, you know what I mean? And it was also some of it was like the way like they built the comedy, it was like it built on itself, which was like got better and better. Now it was definitely like dumb, and they were purposely dumb, right? Like that kind of comedy, and it wasn't hitting right away. And at the end of the day, like I enjoyed it. But then I was like, okay, like I didn't know how to feel about it. It was like kind of dumb as hell, but then like parts of it were great, and overall I ended up enjoying it, right? But like the days since then, like I've grown like to appreciate it more because I keep thinking about different parts of the movie,
Different scenes.
and like they kind of hitting differently like the longer it's been since I've seen it. Even the next day, like I was seeing like I was taking my daughter to like Hot Topic and to Box Lunch, was like these two like pop culture like stores where you can buy stuff. Like she had like birthday money or whatever, so and she wanted Stranger Things stuff, but I kept seeing Thor Love and Thunder thing. I was like, man, I want to buy that because like it was really different. So it stands out in the way that it was different. Now, like some people are gonna hate it.
What would you rate it?
Where would you put it up with other Thor movies?
Yeah, like how would you compare it to like Ragnarok?
Would y'all say that Ragnarok is the best Thor movie?
Yes, it's one of the best Marvel movies, I would say.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
I would put it like a little bit below Ragnarok. However, there was some scenes in it that are more memorable for me.
The only thing I know about it is go in thinking it's a comedy, and the director shit on the VFX.
Yeah,
I saw that.
But there was some,
that's a topic in itself.
Yeah, that's across MCU in general right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like all across the board. I don't know whether like it's like they're rushing through stuff. Maybe it's like COVID stuff, and like they weren't able to like. I don't fucking know. I mean, it was like some of their best stuff is yet to come with the VFX and stuff, but I think that overall it was very different, like, and I didn't know how to feel about it at first, but it's sitting better with me, and I want to see it again. I mean, obviously I'll watch it again when it comes out, like on Disney Plus, and watch it, you know, at home, but I liked it, man. I would say like for me, like just right below Ragnarok.
I mean, the first two Thor movies are kind of garbage themselves.
Yeah,
so it's kind of hard to compare.
Yeah.
I like the first Thor movie, but like his hair and that was so bad. It was so distracting.
He had blonde eyebrows in the first one.
Yeah, it just looked weird, man. It was like distracting.
Like.
And but I did like the movie.
Yeah,
I thought it was like overall. It's gonna be a divisive movie. Some are gonna absolutely hate it. Some are gonna love it. Absolutely freaking love it. You know what I mean?
Better than the latest Doctor Strange?
No, in no way. No, not even like the Doctor Strange movie is kind of like a masterpiece. Like
I thought it was kind of like just above mid tier.
I watched it a second time, and I got even a bigger appreciation for that after I watched it the second time. But it's like the scenes that I didn't like at the theater, they hit better when I watched it at home. For Doctor Strange, right? The comedy that in the beginning of this, I'll have one other appreciation for it later because I didn't know what to expect in this movie when I'm watching it, and I didn't know where they were going with some of the stuff, and I was like, is this supposed to be serious? Is this supposed to be funny? I didn't know it. Now, like looking back at it, it's fucking hilarious, right? I just wasn't appreciating it you know, because like I thought it was supposed to be like a serious type moment and stuff, and I'm like, I didn't know how to feel about it. So like the overall, like the whole movie, I think was pretty damn good. So I liked it. 7.5, maybe an 8.
7.5. I'm looking forward to seeing Christian Bale overall as the villain, and
he was the best part of it for me. But there, like, I could have used more, but like his scenes are awesome.
Nice.
And there's
safe to say we'll see more Gore the God Butcher.
Yeah. And there's a huge thing in this movie that's like a big deal.
Does it move the phase forward a little bit, or you feel like this was like kind of pointless?
No.
Yeah,
okay.
This is filler.
All right, I was just trying to read his reaction.
Unless there's something obvious that I'm missing. Absolutely
I
no
heard
way.
It was filler.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it was filler.
I thought you were just like joking because you didn't want to spoil it, but
no, I mean literally no. I fucking can't. I mean, there's one thing that may have ramifications, but I don't know what it would be.
Gore probably the only tie-in for moving it forward. That's about it, probably.
We get a little spoiler
here. I'm just saying.
I want to ask why, but I also don't want to ask.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk obviously after y'all have seen the movie and stuff. I enjoyed it. Next thing I'm gonna see is Elvis. I want to see that. Like,
I heard it was good.
I like biopics.
Yeah, me too. I want to check it out.
Elvis has like 38 movies you can go watch. It's like
I seen Blue.
I got
something.
one Elvis movie you've never seen.
I seen a couple Elvis movies actually.
Yeah, which one?
Yeah, it had.
They're all about the same. They all do the same thing.
I can't remember. Let me see. I mean, we can talk about it after the show.
yeah, we'll get out. People are like, oh, fuck, all right.
Like, what the heck?
Did everybody get to tell everybody where they could find you and stuff? Okay. All right, chat. You guys rocked. That was our little 10-minute thumb pop segment at the end of the show. Have a fantastic night, and we'll see you again. Take it easy. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Bye.